Joe!
Yes, do you know children? Do you know?
Joe Green!
Do you know that 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds
Joe!
Palestinians go on a stabbing spree?
Good to see you, Joe!
13-year-olds.
I'm so cranky.
I gotta get to the gym, Joe. Quick, right away.
Probably when you go and you try to kill people, then you die. And I don't know this number, and also those terror groups that many here supports, they don't recruit only adults, they recruit children, and they send them on all kinds of missions. And I think that if we can agree on something, it's that children should not be part of any armed conflict. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this?
Should children not be involved in any armed conflict?
Yes, do you agree or not? Yes. Do you agree or not?
Child should be involved, of course not.
And if you do send your child on something like this that a child should not do, then yes, there are risks like this. And when a 17-year-old, I see 17-year-olds, if they throw a rock at your face, it's not a child, Usually the profiles want to describe it as like a 4-year-old picking up like a little stone and throws it like a... No, that is not the case.
Hey, Daniel, hold on.
And also, hold a gun, not just
Daniel, here's an example. Israeli prison service did not respond to the questions about the cause of death. It said only that a 17-year-old from the West Bank had died in Megiddo prison, a facility that was previously been accused of abusing Palestinian inmates. So you have a 17-year-old who died in prison. So it's not like solely like they were gunned down in the street anyways.
Well, you don't know who killed them. Do you know that they also... Do you know how many people Sinwar killed himself in prison? You know that Sinwar used to be called the butcher of Khan Yunis? And not because he butchered Jews. Because he butchered Palestinians. Everyone that spoke against him or his brother, I think there was like a rumor that was spread, I think about his brother, that he's gay. Anyone that said this rumor is not with us anymore. And yes, also people kill each other. And some of the Palestinians also go on hunger strikes. It's, without context, you cannot just say, oh, he died, and then you know who caused it. Yes, he may have died.
It is very sad how Palestinians treat their own people, to be honest.
No, it's a leverage. They are basically the weapon, and they say it very much openly.
That's why I say it's very sad that they are doing this to their own people.
It's not just them, it's the entire movement.
Israel to defend their own people.
But it's not just them, it's the entire movement of the Free Palestine movement.
I hear the stories that you guys are creating in your own head.
Which stories?
Which stories are we creating?
Well, just all these people who could kill themselves in prison and these 17
No, I didn't even say one kid.
They killed himself. You never said that.
I didn't say.
Stop straw manning the argument, Keegan. He never said that. He never said that, Keegan. You're a fucking liar. Stop being a lying piece of shit, Keegan.
Two articles, one from the Washington Post, one from the Times, of two
Keegan, but no one said it.
A 13-year-old
No one said they killed themselves.
was shot through a window in a fort in which he wasn't involved in the conflict whatsoever.
By who? Shot by who?
By the IDF.
How do you know it was by the IDF?
Yeah, you do realize.
No, I think it's, you notice that it's in your head. Does it say? Okay, so you're the one that is lunatic.
Daniel, I have a question. Hold on, Daniel, I have a question.
No, they don't talk like that.
Oh my God, is the West Bank, Daniel, is it a functioning city where they have crime and they have muggings and they have murder and it's also a violent place where people have guns and just fucking shooting at each other and arguing too, right?
And
It's like a small
Could that be possible? Because I mean, there's people that get shot with straight bullets in fucking Chicago. People get murdered in Chicago, in Detroit,
even in
Los Angeles, New York.
It's all bullet. It's pretty random.
Listen, they do kill their own, and they have listen. Even in the Israeli Arab society, we we have a problem.
There were peaceful people unified, they
Hold on.
fight each other.
Even in Israel, in the Arab population, the levels of crime is much higher. It's a real issue that is being discussed of how to.
We should
Hold on. Shh.
in the United States and make sure blacks just are always occupied. I like this idea. You guys are full on racist.
Hello.
Yeah. We should make
Listen,
militarized.
Keegan, hello, Keegan, hello. Maybe try to, hold on, Keegan, maybe try to step out of your head and join the conversation. It seems that you are the one, you like literally a minute ago blamed us that we cannot live in a world of delusion. You are like in a world that is not even connected to our discussion.
Can I ask you a question? What's your thesis?
My thesis is
What is your thesis? My thesis is what Benjamin Netanyahu said in 2002 in front of our Congress, which is that he wants the greater Israel. He does not want the West Bank. He does not want Gaza. He wants.
When did he say he wants greater Israel?
2002, just go look it up, Daniel. In 2002, he went in front of Congress and he said he wants the greater map of Israel. He shows Israel. And he all of the
I don't think so. Hold on, let me see. When was
Yeah, but he showed them up and everybody is like talking.
No, hold on. Greater Israel, when they mean Greater Israel, this is not Greater Israel. Greater Israel, when they talk about, it's including Jordan and Syria and Lebanon and all that.
Yes, I know. It's a much larger issue because
This is, hold on, 1 second, relax. Are you okay? Can you hold on a second? Did he show a map of Greater Israel, really? Or you just manipulating?
Daniel, go look it up.
I'm asking before you waste my time. Can you tell me?
I think actually that, yeah.
Yes, he went in front of our own, for the U.S.
Photo
Congress.
press.
2000 and?
You didn't even address Congress in
I think it was
2022.
2002 or was it 2004? It's 2002 or 2004. They addressed Congress in the early 2020s or in the early 2000s.
2002. Right, 2022 he wasn't in Congress, so let's try your.
Not 2022.
Okay, I thought you said that first.
I said 2002 or 2004. He addresses Congress.
Okay.
He shows the plan for the greater Israel. There's actual West Bank. There's actual Gaza. He says that Israel needs to be its own nation, full of its own people.
It needs to be its own nation. It's
He wasn't even a member of. He wasn't in the government.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand because this is like listen, this Greater Israel nonsense is not existing. This is why it's very weird to me what you're saying because
He testified before the House Government Reform Committee. Are you referring to that? On the conflict with Iraq and Israeli perspective?
Actually, a cleaning act push.
Yeah, in his testimony, he advocated for a U.S. invasion of Iraq, asserting that removing Saddam Hussein would have positive effects on the region. Again, he did not discuss Israel's territorial ambitions or the idea
Yeah,
of
and
greater Israel.
it's easier if you find the link and you.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Yeah.
You can. He's a hard-working guy. He's in an Audi right now doing a test drive trying to figure out what's wrong with the Nazi emissions test that he gave back on the, the fucking machine that gives him the Jew hate indicator.
Can you do that in more of a Chicago accent? Like
That wasn't even like Chicago. That was like fucking.
No, it was close.
That was like Minnesota or some shit.
I
It was a little more north.
The point is, Pete, we're making things up in our heads and just projecting outward like Keegan.
Well, he didn't address it in 2004 either.
We're making things up in our heads.
I'm not sure how we got to this talking point. This is the problem with talking to pro-parties. They cannot go deep. They always have to move the goalpost to something else. I thought we were talking about the West. I thought we were talking about the West Bank and the children in the West Bank. How did we get?
No, don't change the side. He asked what my thesis was.
Yeah, what is your thesis?
What is your thesis?
My thesis is that many people in the IDF and the Israeli administration would love for Israel to be one nation without any form of the West Bank or Gaza at all. I also believe that they believe that they would love for the United States to be truly involved with Syria, Lebanon, even Jordan and Egypt. I think
No, but what is your thesis? you said that people are dying in prison and 100 whatever children died in the West Bank. What is the basis about this? To kill them slowly because they give birth more than we like they kill, you know. Like even in Gaza, there were 150,000 births in the last in the I don't know like 1 year into the war there were 150,000 births and like 30,000 deaths. So what is the plan exactly? In your like again, what is the thesis that we were talking about like the children that are dying and you know and I told you like yes they're recruiting children yada 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 and then you started laughing and then he asked okay so what is your thesis? What is happening? We just like go and just we like to kill children and then you I know I heard someone that said I said okay but you know whatever I said and then yes it's a slow genocide for 75 people.
Daniel, don't you know that this is just a projection for depressed, lonely people who have no contentment in their life, so they use it as political fodder to make themselves dopamine?
Yes.
The population only increased tenfold. So it's like the worst genocide.
Well, look, the issue
We
is
already
that
added this
if
genocide.
you attached all the Arabs in the West Bank to Israel, they would have to get voting rights, because then you truly would have whatchamacallit, like South Africa. I'm sorry, my brain's not working right. Apartheid. So, and the percentage of Jews compared to the percentage of non-Jews would be much more drastic. So
hold on, why is apartheid like doesn't the United States has citizens and correct me maybe I'm wrong that cannot vote?
Yeah.
The entire United States.
We have territories.
Yes, I
We
understand.
also
But
have people, commit crimes that stripped of their ability to vote.
is this apartheid? Not talking about the criminals that actually just you know
Talking about those who can vote.
in Israel.
That's okay.
In Israel, there is no how you cannot take someone's voting power even if he's like a mass murderer.
All I'm saying is
But
cleaving. I was just saying it's not going to happen because one of the reasons is cleaving that territory onto Israel completely changes demographic profile of the country.
no, but if they are like part of a territory,
Yeah,
that
they
is
have
like
a
maybe
confederation. Yeah, but someone said Israel as opposed like the country as opposed to confederation.
Yeah, but I don't think that we want them. Like we are not. Fortunately, it's no match until there's like a overall reform in the Palestinian society. I don't think
I
that.
have to say we're done with terrorism. We're gonna focus building up a country through peaceful means, and then we can talk about it.
That'll never happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, because the thing is that they get a lot of wind and gasoline from the Free Palestine movement.
Daniel, it will happen after the carpet bombing.
After what?
At the end of
Carpet bombing.
there's no carpet bomb. No, there's no carpet bombing.
Israel doesn't
Yeah,
have
you know.
the carpet bomb.
The U.S. does. They can supply it.
No, if we wanted.
I think Tuesday is gonna be.
No, Yaakov, the problem is not technicality. That is not the reason why we don't, because we cannot or we don't have the right equipment. We just not. It's not something that we do. Carpet bomb.
No. It's carpet bombing is only done by large bombers dropping 50,000-pound loads at a time. Like.
Okay, I'm just saying that. I'm saying that the problem is. I get it. I'm saying the problem is not that we don't have the.
First of all, you don't have planes to do carpet bombing, but more importantly, if you did have them, you wouldn't. So it's not a very good use of.
Hey, can I borrow your B-52s for a couple days?
I'm moving and I need something to help me move.
Give me some C-17s. Wait till Israel gets their C-46s refueling tankers. They have really old refueling tankers. The Houthis will be really pissed off.
That's sexy when you talk about all those weapons.
You're moving from what?
Central, right? He's a married man.
They're getting long-range refueling tankers.
But Daniel is not jealous.
Yeah.
And what she doesn't know won't hurt her.
Daniel, if we were to make you a 5-star general of the IDF right now and you had to lead the troops into battle, what would you do? What would be your operations order?
I said it already, I would carve Gaza into like 5, 6 parts with a corridor, like the one, no. Like each, Gaza City, Rafah, Khan Yunis, like each basically like, no, but I can open the map now if you want me to tell you exactly. Basically, on the map you can easily see because there are already a few corridors and you can see where the others should be by where they could be, where there are less like buildings and stuff like this. So you cut Gaza into 5 parts, and from that moment no one can pass except through the checkpoint. When you pass through the checkpoint, of course you cannot carry, and of course everything. When we do the corridor, we also blow up everything below it, so there's no tunnels that can connect those different parts. Anyone that passes,
one of the most interesting
needs to
geographic.
go through like a checkpoint with like facial recognition, of course without the weapons, and to give some kind of an autonomy to each section, like so they would manage themselves. But like in a city,
what would these districts be and what would separate them? Who would govern these 5 pieces?
Isn't this the plot to Hunger Games?
We would just be on the borders between the different.
The 5 different pieces, in order to go from one to the other, there would be checkpoints?
Yes.
And that would be managed by Israel?
Him to use like we would create it. It should be also like we did in the past. It was like at the end that we gave it to a company, like an American company that did it. And also, it can also be completely automated from afar, like in the airport, you go through a gate, there's a camera, if it's okay, it's opens, if not,
Your passport and whatever, yeah?
Yeah, whatever. Yes, now there is technology for this. And then, if someone passes through the facial recognition and is a wanted person, he's arrested, they cannot smuggle weapons, they cannot transfer weapons, and they cannot coordinate as one big army. And then to kind of wait a bit.
Got it. And we stop being pussies and just shoot them on sight. Just make it so much easier. Seriously.
Oh my god.
So you're suggesting you implement a series of processes and controls using technology and automation?
And
That's fine.
And bullets.
Yeah, and also like to give like a chance for like the day after, like because I do think that everyone is taking advantage of the Palestinians, their leaders and the Free Palestine movement, and if they will get a chance to manage themselves as like each one of them will say you take care of their people and whatever, yes, they will only take care of their own little city.
Daniel, this is why we can't have peace in the Middle East.
Right?
You gotta pull the band-aid off. You keep
You're
wanting
gay.
the band-aid like slowly, Daniel. You're like, oh, just gentle, don't rip it.
No, listen, at the end of
just grab it. You're like, shrug off.
At the end of the day, we do have our like moral code, and what you're suggesting is not something that is legal.
Please don't scroll.
The what hotel?
Look, there's like maybe 2,000 of them in the world. It's a rounding error.
Wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, 400 families worldwide.
Yeah, it looks like that.
I want to know what would Keegan left. But what would Keegan do if he were Netanyahu? I want to understand what he would do.
He'd he would stop everything and say, you go back to the way you were.
No, he would gas all the Jews.
Probably.
Julian, what would you do if we made you the 5-star general?
We have to kill our enemy before our enemy kills us. That's all I'm saying.
Julian, what would you do? Lujas, Stickles, what would you do if you were the 5-star general of the IDF and you had to lead the operation to free the hostages? What would you do?
Pepe, what would you do?
Me? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I was an Israeli,
No, if you were king of Israel.
No, if you were
You're
the
a king of
prime
Israel, you
minister
can
of
do whatever you
Israel.
want, Pepe. What do you do?
I mean, I would probably be so personally aggrieved and offended, I don't know. I might even just want to wipe them out.
There you go. That basically is what I'm saying.
I'm not like somebody who is level-headed enough to be like a general or anything. So
Yeah, we agree.
Person that.
Don't forget, the purpose is to free the hostages without killing them. If they die in the process of liberating them, it was a bad operation. That means it was a failure. Some people don't even know what a fucking failure is anymore.
Caesar was on your door, John.
No, I mean,
They're coming for you in Chicago.
if you look at like when we dropped 2 nukes on Japan, they understood what genocide was, and they realized that it was going to go nowhere except for their extinction. I mean, I think you can always be brutal to the point that it's. I mean, I don't know what
the message.
Yeah,
Oh, are you sure about that, Pepe? You mean to tell me the emperor didn't cut a deal with America to remain emperor? You dumb motherfucker.
He was actually in negotiations prior to the bomb dropping. There's some debate as to whether it was necessary or not.
It was MacArthur blasted those imperialist bastards back to the Stone Age.
Well, we did this exact same fucking thing to Dresden, because we weren't going to fight it out on the ground.
Dresden was, pretty bad. What, 400,000 people burned up in a couple hours?
Well, Americans, everybody at that time had skin in the game. Everybody had relatives that were fighting over there. They were not willing to lose more people, so they said the Nazis wanted to fight it out on the streets still. And they said, all right, fuck you. We'll just go ahead and just level Dresden. They realized, well, I mean, the only sensible thing to do was to stop fighting. Because they will continue to take on massive...
What are you talking about? They fought to the very end.
Wait, what number did you throw around as the number of deaths at Dresden?
400.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's 22,500 to 25,000.
Really?
Some reports claimed up to 200,000. The German Dresden Historians Commissions concluded that the casualties were between 22,500 and 2,500.
Don, weren't you at the Citadel? Come on.
I thought Dresden was like one of the worst carpet bombings in world history.
It was. I think the claims were highly exaggerated.
Okay, so I'm off by a factor of 100. Oops. 200. Whoops.
We'll never let the facts get in the way of a good argument.
Let's still not admit that we're wasting our time. Thank you all very little. We'll call you. Don't call us.
That's what I say to people. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good argument.
The point is, I'm going to the gym, and I hope all of you people go to the gym and read a good book today. God bless you all.
You've been saying that for 3 hours.
Yeah, like I don't actually believe you work out.
Yeah,
You are fit.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat of me live streaming myself on the treadmill sweating. You'll see.
Nobody wants
When you
to
said I'm
watch
going to
you
the gym, it
go
sounds like
in short shorts, John.
Yeah, we've seen you naked almost. Like when in your back in your
He belches!
Instagram live, you were pretty much like in underwear.
Did you like my underpants?
Fully naked.
You know, give him a ball look.
You have not seen him fully naked,
No.
with his butthole pointing to the sun, and
Is Guatemala like Switzerland? Like, what the front door are you talking about, girl?
Create an OnlyFans.
Who says I haven't already created an OnlyFans, but they banned me. They took my butthole money. I was doing naked yoga in my living room, and I made $100,000, and they confiscated it because they said my schmecker was too small.
I need TP for my bungle. Are you trying to
Schmeckle. It's a dick.
They said only big, giant,
Yiddish.
big elephant cock is preferred to make big money. Daniel, have you ever spent money on OnlyFans?
No. Only incoming.
Do you think there is a booming OnlyFans business happening in the Gaza Strip right now?
there's
get the Americans to say Gaza.
It's not the American, it's the idiots.
No. When the Americans try to pretend like
No, but that's just the trolls. That's just the trolls.
No. The like.
So wait, if you're telling me they free the hostages today, they could have peace tomorrow?
They have 9 days. 9 days.
This is when the operation starts in 9 days.
Yeah, so this I read this morning.
This is basically, I think it's Trump is doing like a Middle East tour, and I think that they're waiting until he will not be on Middle East grounds to do this.
He's going to make a final ultimatum. Release the hostages or be destroyed.
Is the airport
That's
open?
right.
Is the airport open or just for?
The airport was never closed, but many airlines
The airlines
stopped for
are
a few
flying.
days.
Oh, I thought it was closed for a few hours.
No, I think that well, I need to check, but that would be surprising to me. Maybe for a few hours, yes.
He said the airport was still open, but the airlines were not flying in.
No, I think always flies, but maybe like they delay for like a few hours to kind of make sure. Yes, that could be. And I think as far as I know, the FAA and the European counterparts didn't issue anything. So that's a good sign.
There has sort of been a understanding Israel won't go after the Houthis as long as the United States is bombing the crap out of them. But apparently we haven't been bombing the crap enough out of them. So I wonder what's.
No, I think Israel had to respond to this. I don't think that he would have.
Yeah, right. But
yeah.
I would expect they would.
And did you hear about this flotilla thing that is developing?
Yeah, there's an interesting report. There's an interesting report out of Malta that
An interesting report out of Malta.
Going on to Lebanon, to Beirut, to resupply Hezbollah, and they wanted like some people to look the other way, so that maybe that they actually, and they're pretty good with drones. I love the fact that everyone goes straight to Israel. Like, you know, it's a lot easier to fly a drone from one boat that's 20 miles away than it is from 500 miles away.
Yaakov, why do you assume there was a drone?
What?
The only source that we have is the people on the boat that said it.
All I'm saying is, if they say it's a drone, let's just run with that. All I'm saying is.
No. I understand what you're saying, and it's too far from us. But the only source of that, basically, what the Malta government said, we will pull the boat to the port. We will also finance the repair under the conditions that we can check that you actually have all humanitarian aid on board. And they
wouldn't even let them on board.
They refused to allow them, and now they're like stuck. It's like, oh my God, we are stuck. And when they came to the boat, they wanted to evacuate them. They refused.
Well, I'm more interested in this boat shadowing it that's trying to go to Beirut. Does Israel have a port in Beirut? Does Israel have has destroyers off of? I think they don't have destroyers. Corvettes off of Beirut.
I don't know what they have. Well, things change all the time. But this flotilla is really an interesting story. I don't think it gets enough coverage. People are not talking about it, but I think it's really interesting what's happening there. And Greta Thunberg is now there.
More than one ship.
What's going on, guys? What's the problem with Hugo Boss making military uniforms?
Well,
nobody knows and nobody cares.
He designed the Nazi uniforms in World War II.
It was Diego's time.
Now you do.
It's Diego's time.
It's like from 3 hours ago, maybe we can change it.
Aren't Adidas like Nazi shoes too, or are they from like Nazi
German brothers, one did.
Oh my God, nobody cares.
Yes. One did.
This is what your title's about. You how you don't say nobody
Yes,
cares.
but it's not my room.
Oh, but change the title then. Now.
Let's occupy it. We're good at occupying things. Come on, let's occupy
wait,
the title.
Occupation. There it is.
Okay, Uncle, was that good?
Oh yeah, what's going on, Uncle?
From the title to the pinned link.
So you guys want to talk about occupation?
Hey,
My occupation is data analytics.
Hey Daniel, you know how you were saying that you know how you're saying that the Hamas are using the Palestinian people as a proxy and inflicting pain? It's almost like they're doing a Hannibal directive.
I mean, the Palestinian people voted Hamas in, and the Israeli government approved it. This is the problem that they all seem like they all chose.
Right.
Oh, makes sense here.
Okay. I just
I
think
love Mixed-Up.
not enough people respect their wishes. Both of these states decide to deal with these issues this way.
Oh, you upgraded Hamas to a state?
I'd say that they are an organization of people exercising sovereignty.
Well, they're territories. They have territories.
So
They
they're
have.
just a governmental
Oh
body
my
of
God,
the
They
territory.
don't have a currency. They don't have a
They
separate
have-
currency.
That's what she said.
Masters.
They have territories. They
Not
have.
every state has a currency.
They have
No,
sovereignty.
technically Hamas would be considered like a Republican or a
They are-
Democrat,
Besides
right?
the Vatican, which
Which
is
independent
doesn't have a
from-
currency.
I don't know, does like Liechtenstein
El
have
Salvador,
their own?
El Salvador has gold dollars.
They just use the Swiss. They're too small. They have this.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. They're too small. You
Okay,
can
but in general, the norm is most states have a currency, and they have
No, El
ambassadors.
Salvador uses US dollars.
Yes, you're right. A good non-belligerent state would have
They use Bitcoin too.
and big ivory towers where justice prevailed. But
Yeah, but that's
this
not a
is a rogue state.
You don't like to be in a state? Do you feel it's dirty?
No, first of all, yes. No, I don't mind too much. I just like it's kind of like every time I look, it looks weird.
Like, one second, Daniel.
But okay, we stay. Yes.
Yeah, we can stay. We can boom it eventually.
Would it be accurate to say that Germany is a single state, or is it like large with huge different regions and it's multiple states combined in a German federation?
It's a federation.
So it's multiple
Bohemia is
German
different
states
than Prussia.
federally recognizing a single German international identity.
I guess like the Americans in a way.
Yeah,
Right.
Except there are different areas. Bavaria is a subset. You know, you have.
Exactly. So like Bavaria, Palestine exists the same way Bavaria does. It's some
But
rogue
Bavaria
state
is-
that won't
No,
federate.
it doesn't
because
work.
Palestine
Yeah, it
is
doesn't work.
not part of the Israeli territory. Bavaria is a region within Germany.
Like Bavaria is to New York.
Okay, let's say this. If West Bank and Gaza are fully within Israeli sovereign control, then Israel has occupiers in like two regions, and those occupiers have formed their own self-government. And I'm still gonna say that looks like a damn state.
Yeah, I think it looks like a state.
I mean, call a spade a spade.
That's right. I agree with like that.
Now
Hey,
listen,
don't be racist.
now slow down. It is a militant, belligerent state that is very justifiably subject to war from its neighbors, but it's a state.
It is a state, and it's sovereign. They have government.
Yeah, but they're not in control of their borders, and that's a pretty important thing to be.
Yeah, they're a shitty state.
The human brains want continuity or contiguousness. If it's not unity or union or one state and it's separated, people can't accept that as being a state.
Well, what was it in the Camp David Accord? They wanted to put a 36-kilometer tunnel connecting the two. They're pretty good at tunnels. Should have thought about that.
But that's the problem. There's rules of interpretation and how somebody could perceive whether it's a state or not.
Well, no, see, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of propaganda, a lot of confusion thrown around. Who started Israel? Were they white Europeans? Who are the Jews? Is the Bible made up? All of this is apparently relevant in the question of Israel-Palestine. But the question of the Palestinian movement, the way they organize, the people who have decided to, like, you know, consciously assemble into civil union with each other, whether by, like, gang alliance and terror, or, like, voting.
Or inbreeding.
However they've done it, through religion, through language, through culture, through geography. These people, wherever they are a state. They are people with a very specific history. And I'm saying they are, as a state, belligerent assholes that, like, should expect a lot of fucking war the way they act with their neighbors. But, like, listen, they can do what they want. I think denying their statehood is like a weird maneuver. It's just like, this is so evil and cruel. How could any sane
Mixed, you're married. You haven't heard a no in 20 years. Do you know how many no's it takes to get to a yes?
How? No, listen. Here's the problem. Here's why no conscious, like, proper organized state exists today with a proper heritage and people to protect. None of those people could checkmark the statehood of the Palestinians with their current platform. Because it is genocidal, idiotic, ahistoric, and just generally violent and cruel. No sane organizer of civilians would agree to the style of negotiation that the Palestinians are engaged in. So as a result, their statehood is left as something known by the people and never acknowledged because of their evil intent. If they would have just say, like, hey, guess what? We're gonna make, like, Palestine gonna be right next to Israel, period. End of story. Come see the Judea we have in the West Bank. It's real cool. If they just checkmark that, the whole thing would be over. It's silly. Because they're a state.
But the people on this app,
Hanging back and forth. Are they a state? Aren't they a state?
the people on this app are unaware of this 3-letter word called the law, and therefore they're incompetent, have no morals, no virtue, and they're just virtue signalers and propaganda pushers.
Speaking of, did anybody see the Louis Theroux West Bank documentary?
Talking about the one with Louis Theroux?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
I've not seen it yet. What was it like? A lot of lefties talking about it.
I mean, it kind of made me. Well, I'll just say this: it doesn't show Israel in a good light.
Yeah, it's like the violent.
If you want to see Israel in a good light, you schmuck, you need to read the Torah.
I'm just giving. It was clear that it was. He deliberately documentary. It just shined Israel in a negative light. I don't know.
Israel shines bright in the sky like a Zohar.
Although, are you saying that someone created a video that portrays Israel in a bad light?
Yeah.
No.
You know, Louis Theroux has always been impartial. I've seen him.
Yeah, no, it was a reporter from UK that interviewed the Hilltop Boys. You know, those gangs of Jews that terrorized the Palestinians?
Yeah, I'm not so naive, and I saw the settlers, and I think it's a bit skewed in the way that it's a good. No, it's like you can watch it. I mean, it's basically about the settlers, but he makes a lot of like commentaries that are either factually wrong or like a bit biased. For example, there's a part.
You think he skewed his presentation of the documents?
He skewed his reasoning of stuff that he said in the movie. Like he was giving reasoning that are from his point of view, not from reality, like explaining stuff.
So
like,
you're saying in talking less, he could show Jewish Israeli children terrorizing Palestinians or joking about it or something?
I didn't see Jewish people terrorizing.
Yeah,
and the only video, there was one part that they showed something, which is a video that he didn't document, that he got. And you know, basically what usually happens that you don't see how things happen. You just see like a segment, you know. And this is there's a part where Daniela Weiss kicks him like kind of rough, like pushes him.
He gets
What she was trying to say, no, she pushes him. She kind of like pushes him with two hands, kind of strong, okay?
Okay.
And basically, what she wanted to do, like, okay, I push you, and now, and basically what she wanted to say, now you hit me back, but now start rolling, okay? And then they would say, oh my God, he's hitting a woman, or something like this, okay? This is what she wanted to say, that basically she will start videoing now, and you don't show me, like, pushing you, then you will be like, oh my God, this guy is just like attacking this woman. And there was a part where he said, you know, she's like, my goal is to bring people to kind of settle here and to like create more settlements and more Jews to come. And he's like, but look, this is like a Palestinian village. What do you think about them? And she's like, I don't think about them. Like, what do you mean? Like I'm focused about bringing Jews. I don't think about them, like, either way. And then he said it sounds psychotic or psychopathic, okay? And she's like, she looked at him like weird, like, and she explained, like, I have children, and I care for my children. I don't care for other children. It doesn't mean that I like hate them or that I would, like, I don't know, throw them under the bus. I just, you know, I see, like, I don't care for them. And I think to portray this as psychopathic, it sounds a bit like, where did you come from? Like, and honestly, like, you know, I have a lot of criticism to Daniela Weiss, and I don't align with her ideology. But in that context of what I saw, if I would be like out of the blue, I'm like, why is that psychopathic? Sorry.
Well, I would say what stood out to me is I understand they're soldiers, they're not professional police officers, which generally there's a difference even here between, you know, a 20-year-old that's enlisted and somebody who makes a career out of being a law enforcement officer. But the soldiers did seem to be kind of like bullies, unprofessional.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, just how they kept on asking for his passport and stuff, and how he admitted to lying that they did, you know, basically they're saying that they couldn't really arrest them for picking the olives, but that, you know, they were just basically trying to intimidate them and to go away, and if that didn't work, then, you know, they said, well, you know what, we won't talk about any further, and like basically insinuating that they would, I guess, find a reason to haul him to jail.
Yes, a lot of the things that she said are, and again, I'm talking about also from the movie, and I saw like IDF soldiers are acting very professionally. Asking for someone's passport, I don't think it's that not legitimate when you like standing next to a checkpoint with a camera and they want to know who you are and what you do there.
Let me put it this way.
And one second.
We also have different rights here. Could be because here in the United States you couldn't.
One second. Let me just finish. Let me just finish. First of all, I don't know about that. I don't know how many checkpoints and military you have in the United States. But the guy that you were talking about that said that about arresting them, he was basically avoiding the question because he didn't say he's gonna arrest them, and he was like an officer. Not an 18, he was like a 40-year-old man. He wasn't like an 18-year-old boy. And the people, those soldiers, when they understood that they are being asked questions, they don't have any authority to speak to the media, said, okay, we just turn around and left. They didn't curse, they didn't laugh, they didn't shout, they didn't push, they were not rude. I think that a lot of your interpretations come from like the way that I don't know. I didn't see this in the movie, to be honest. That they were rude or unprofessional.
Daniel or Pepe, what was like the smoking gun? What like horrifying content of abuse and oppression was caught on film and then presented? Like, because so far it just sounds like the documentary was kind of an editorial choice.
I would say, like, maybe for me, the highlight would be that you had the Palestinians that lived near the settlements, and they like the Israeli military showed up, and you could see like the green lasers and stuff getting shine through the window, from their rifles. And I don't know. It just seemed like it's kind of hard to know how to interpret it. But I mean, that to me, that's kind of weird. Like to have in the United States, you have to have a very good reason for the police to point their rifles.
And but Pepe,
Yeah, but
Pepe,
you're talking
this is
about
not the
the
United
US.
States.
You're talking
We're
about
talking
the
about the
US
West.
where it's really a safe country and nobody is threatening them.
No, in the West Bank, you have like, I don't know if you ever seen a map of the West Bank, but it's like a Swiss cheese. There is like a Palestinian village next to a settlement, next to a Palestinian village, and there need to be some separation. And this is why the army is there. This is why there are checkpoints.
One second.
There are different zones.
I'm trying to understand, Zahari. You're saying that there were Palestinians in a simple Palestinian village that had green, like,
They were in a house.
dots on them?
Well, it looked like just a laser that was on a standard carbine or rifle.
But we don't know who was pointing the laser, let's be honest.
Yeah, you do. It showed on camera. It showed the military pulling up, and
You see the you see the a car passing, and then you see a laser coming from like when they film the car, they film it from the top, meaning they were like above it, like I don't know, second, third floor, and the laser came straight,
Slow down.
and it wasn't from the car.
Are you saying that this was like out in the field at night?
No.
No, this was in one of their homes.
They were in the building, some kind of a building, and to me, to be honest, it could be that it was like a soldier like making fun, but it could also be them. Like the guy comes to do a documentary. They are obviously part of this documentary. They want to create this is why they also took it to places where they hoped they would. He even asked him did you take me there because you knew that they would send you back? And he's like, no, I didn't know they would send me back. I thought I was allowed to go until here, and now it's until here. I'm not saying that it has to be not the IDF, but I'm just saying that it could also be like a planned thing. But the end you see laser. Throughout the video with all the horrors of the IDF, I didn't see any IDF soldier doing something bad. And the only time that I did see something that was like not okay, which is the laser thing, is I couldn't see the soldier, which I think is a bit weird because if you came to do a documentary, but this is the only proof that you have, which is like by association in a way or just by accusation, it's not enough to prove it. But it goes to like bias eyes. I mean, if you are like already like in the perception that settlers is bad and yada yada yada, and they are all like crazy terrorists, and the IDF are demons, then you will not even doubt it for a second. Even you didn't doubt it for a second. But I do, not because of the IDF, because I just really don't know who did it.
I need to watch this show.
It's online and also on YouTube. If you have on Twitter, some people uploaded it.
How
like
many episodes is it?
No, it's 1 hour.
Oh,
1 hour.
this is one. Okay.
And I think that the choice of like what to do the story on, which is like those fringe group of the settlers. I mean, the settlers are like a few hundred thousands. Those people that live on a hilltop with no electricity and no water, no running water are very few. This is why even what?
That's how they live. They live up on a hilltop without like roads.
Yeah, they just put a caravan, even with their children, and this is where they live. And you can also see those days that you don't see like a thriving community. You see like a few people that decide, okay, this hilltop, we're gonna call it now, I don't know, Mixed Hill, and they put like a sign, and they start living there. But you see like, I don't know, 10 people out of 700,000, and I think that focusing on that part of the group, while kind of ignoring completely, like zero, about the Palestinian aggression or violence during this time, I don't think it's too naive. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna, I just ask the questions, or I just gonna. It feels like with an intention. you don't do this now with like without kind of understanding like the context of things and how it will be perceived and how it will be used.
Well, he doesn't have an agenda to make it be perceived any particular kind of way.
Well, he does. Of course, he does. If you want to create like the story, you need to give the entire story. For example, why there are checkpoints? You know, in this movie, the Palestinians seem like only we want to like get to our trees, and we just want to live our life, and the IDF are mean, and the settlers are crazy.
Okay, and why do you believe that this British reporter should not tell that story that a Palestinian told him?
You can tell it, but I don't think it gives
The thing is not,
the full story.
It's not the point is not that he shouldn't tell that story that was told by a Palestinian. The point is that if he is a really an honest journalist, yes, you receive the part of a story and then you investigate, right? You don't just tell the story somebody told you, because then you might be sinning on the side or well on one of the sides, which is okay, you know. But as a journalist, if you want to call yourself a journalist, then you should investigate both sides. If you want to present your documentary as like partial. Impartial.
I would say that journalism is not really designed to be impartial per se. It's more to like act as a loudspeaker for particular very focused stories, sometimes nuanced that like the broader issues are not even addressed. That's like the strengths of the journalism.
I'm not sure about that. I mean,
like the muckrakers. Also, what was it? America took over like 3 different islands because of the Maine. That was more like a newspaper thing than anything else.
I think in our reality, I think when you publish such a movie with a very specific narrative in a time where like in time like this, I don't need to explain like the narrative war that is going on. Either he's completely detached from reality, which makes him not a good journalist to understand what he's doing and even try to kind of even bring like comments of the IDF, for example, or to bring like balanced view, but it's not balanced. And when you're doing something that you don't try to when you only show like half the picture, I don't see it as responsible journalism. So usually, even if I would do now an expose about you that you raped, yada yada yada, at the end of the movie, I will bring, okay, this is what the lawyer of Mixed said. All the allegations, like I will give at least your opportunity to give some kind of balance, even if at the end 90 minutes would be on how bad you are, and then at the end there will be 2 minutes of your reaction. But there was zero attempt.
That is what would be journalism for me, you know.
I mean, before that, he studied. Sorry.
No, just one quick question. Who paid for this? Who financed this?
I assume the BBC.
Well, you see, so it's public funds. It should be.
I want to like BBC did this movie, and they did this movie like I think a month ago about like this kid in Gaza. And can you tell me when is the movie about the Palestinian terrorism? About the school books, about their like allegiance with Hamas, about using children as like where are those like? It's okay to have. I'm not saying they shouldn't tell a story, but if it's Al Jazeera, I know exactly what I'm getting, and I know that I'm not getting the full picture from a place like the BBC or someone that wants to be neutral. I think if the purpose is to educate people or to show them like a true reality, I don't think that this is what was done. And not just based on this movie, but you know, like if you look at everything that the BBC is doing, there is a problem. So maybe he doesn't know that he's I don't know exactly what caused this movie and how it happened, but it seemed very skewed. also his narrative, his narration added to it. I actually had some comments that I wrote. I just don't. I can find it if you want. Hold on, I will find it.
You know, I'm not convinced that Duffel blog is actually a thing because I find no other reference to this contract other than that blog.
What are you talking about? What blog?
The Hugo Boss awarded contract for joint service. It's a complete troll.
Just let Sarah go because she's been trying to talk.
Oh no, it was just saying like he's done loads of documentaries where he's interviewed pedophiles and they're telling him like what they've done to little kids and shit, like so many horrific things. And he's always been impartial. He's never not once lost his shit on anyone.
Who's this?
Louis Theroux.
The guy that did this documentary.
Yeah.
Which like struck me as weird because I was like, what the fuck, man? I don't have TV. I haven't watched it. You know, I don't pay for the TV license or anything. I think it's shit.
Okay, so I have a few examples for you.
It's been a joint U.S.-Israeli raid on Yemen.
Oh.
I don't think it's joined, but
Yeah, it says joint. A senior Israeli official confirmed to N12 News on Monday night that Israel is conducting joint airstrikes to the United States against Houthi targets in Yemen. According to Arab news sources cited by N12, over 30 Israeli jet fighters were participating in strikes from the port city of Hadu Ayed.
Okay, so I want to go back 1 second. Hodeda port.
Yeah.
The few points is that October 7th is mentioned once, and when it's mentioned, it's framed as a pretext for the settlement's extension. Then, when he interviews Israelis, it's Israelis that are critical of Israel, those are activists that basically say that Israel never wanted peace, which is, he could have added, like he did in other places, that actually Israel made many peace offers to Palestinian leaders that they rejected. It's not mentioned once. He goes to Beta and Eviatar, and he frames the settlers as those violent people, but no mentions of Beta's riots, for example. When they burned Star of David, the Nazi swastika, nothing is mentioned there. Like only that they are like the poor innocent Palestinians. And I have a few more examples if you would like. Hold on. It doesn't mention, of course, the reaction of the Israeli society to the settlers' extremists. Well, there's a point where he called her psychopathic, which I think was also very much biased for someone that you just document. And I don't think that what she said was psychopathic at all, to be honest. That's just
Sarah, what other documentaries have you seen him do?
I want to do documentaries on pedophiles, Nazis. He went undercover and they interviewed them and stuff like that. And what else have I seen?
So he does investigative journalism.
Yeah, he does. He's done some crazy shit, really intense shit. And he's never lost his cool, which is fucking crazy. So either he's passionate about this personally, or he's working for someone or whatever.
How do you spell his last name?
THEORX or something, I think like.
But if you look for the Settlers movie, it will come up very fast.
I've been out of the loop on that. Briefly, it's whether a smear job.
Daniel, you asked why does the movie not document why is there checkpoints and why it didn't document how Hamas has risen and the indoctrination.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
The movie should not talk about everything. I said that the BBC did a movie a month ago about a Palestinian child in Gaza, how to survive a genocide or whatever, and now the settlers. So I'm saying that it's okay to if you want to show like one side, but I think a place like a BBC should be more balanced and not just kind of always portray one side, very one-sided.
Oh, so you're saying like BBC isn't like showing like anything about like Jews or I'm sorry.
Anything bad about Palestinians?
He doesn't seem to have taken like a journalistic stance, and instead he is getting into a narrative that favors just Palestine's side.
Yeah, and there's also a movie that was released or a documentary that was released by the BBC. I think they took it down though, but it was a perspective coming from a Palestinian child. So I think what Daniel's basically saying is that they don't really show how the Hamas is indoctrinating the children. Like for example, there's this show where they have this kind of like creepy Mickey Mouse fucking dude. Like,
oh yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, I forgot the name
Pioneers of
of it.
Tomorrow. Pioneers of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's called and it's basically propaganda. So yeah, it's just all this disgusting propaganda against Israel, and that doesn't really get reported by the BBC. I think Daniel's saying.
But even in this movie, it kind of was like, even if you want to talk only about like the settlers and like the relations with the Palestinians, and you talk about settlers' violence, and you don't show any of it, and you talk about the IDF, and basically whenever you show the IDF, they are very polite and they are very professional, and you don't mention nothing from like when he was talking about like Beta, and he was like, don't you care about those people? And first of all, Beta, yes, they are like little Nazis there, like with swastika and burning the Stars of David and rioting. That is not mentioned. So when you need to have an army to protect like Jews, it's portrayed as a bad thing. I understand it, but the only people that were talking about Israel was either the extremists, like the Daniela Feinstein, or the critics of Israel. There was no one that was kind of trying to give a balanced point of view, or like even to explain, or I'm not the IDF spokesman to react, like nothing of this.
Okay. I'm gonna give a different perspective, just from my point of view, right? I think it's okay that the BBC is doing that, because a lot of the networks and the media that we see are pro-Israel, and you don't really see a lot of like advocates or on the other side, right? I don't like the Nazi shit. That's not okay. Nazi lives do not matter. But maybe this is something that Israel or the Jewish diaspora can document. I've never heard of Nazi flags in Israel. That's insane to me.
I think that, well, first of all, I don't think that the narrative has been mainly pro-Israel. I think it has been completely the opposite. You see all the protests that are being talked about around the world, not only in the UK, but everywhere around the world are pro-Palestinian stuff. Whenever there is something about Israel, everybody is against it. They portray it as a genocide, etc., etc. So the narrative that has been prevalent in mainstream has been the pro-Palestinian one. That's number one. But I do agree that if somebody wants to paint the pro-Palestinian side and see why is it that they're victims and why is it that they're suffering, whatever, they should by all means go and do it. Now, the problem I have with the BBC doing it is that it comes from taxpayers' money. And the BBC is a public television, and therefore, if they're going to do any documentary, I think it should be aim as investigation, aim as a journalism, and try to portray both sides in trying to seek the truth to present to the people. So, because otherwise, it's just propaganda if it's coming from the government. And that shouldn't be the case.
Go ahead. Someone spoke?
I don't know what to say.
So, sorry, I want to speak. Okay, so I'm putting in the chat if anyone wants to read from honest reporting about like the problems with this movie. You can agree or disagree. But for example, one of the things that they're saying, like he did already, like it's also mentioned in the movie that he already did a movie about the same people, like I don't know, like 14 years ago, and now we kind of revisited. And he also said, okay, it's the same people that I visited in 2011, yada yada. In the previous movie that he did, he mentioned, for example, that the settlers are a very like small minority group, like that are like the how do you call it, they're just like a very small portion of the Israeli society, which he didn't say at all in this. Back then, he did mention, for example, in the previous movie, that the land was purchased by Jewish home, and he acknowledged that there are a lot of like regular and deadly terror attacks from Palestinians. He mentioned this, so he does know it, and it was something that he thought in the past that is professionally important to say. This time, all those things were missing from the documentary. Like to balance it, to kind of give context to, and again, those are things that he obviously knows because he already mentioned them in his previous movie about the same topic. So if you want to read it, they go into depth about the different things that are going there, and you can read. I think it's interesting. And also, if you want the entire case against the BBC, then there's a whole report about the BBC and the problems that they have with their reporting.
Shit's gonna hit the fan in the UK though, because we've got inquiries coming up about Muslim grooming gangs, Pakistanis stuff. And
But are they really talking about it, or are they pushing it under the rug like they have been doing?
No, I think there's fights in Parliament, and our recent elections, it all went to reform. Like Labour lost all of their seats, and I think it's gonna be the reason why we'll have a general election and our government might swing. But yeah, shit's gonna hit the fan. There was a documentary about the grooming gangs that went on Channel 4, and it was quite hectic. Like, it showed a lot of like dark shit. I don't have TV, so I hear secondhand things. Anyway, that was the night before the election. So the propaganda swung both ways.
Well, hopefully. Because I think that the UK is really, it's a fallen state. It's a failed state at this point.
BlackRock is just buying it all,
The what?
BlackRock. They're just buying the whole of the UK.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But I think Ireland will go to shits before the UK.
Yeah, the Irish are fighting back though. We had the other day there was like this property development, loads of new houses were built, and then it was said that it was to house migrants. Somebody came with a bulldozer and fucked up all of the houses.
Based.
Yeah. So it's getting a bit heated.
Yeah, I don't know where all this thing is gonna go here in Europe, but definitely a change has to take place at some point because it's not sustainable.
I think that's racist.
I don't give a shit. It's horrible.
I think we should present a more balanced view.
I am balanced.
I'm glad you got your medication figured out.
Yeah, you were not here. That's when Randy was going at Princessia because apparently Diego told her not to take her medication. She was saying that was false. And yeah, and Randy said that he shouldn't be giving her that advice because she's mentally ill. She's like, don't call me mentally ill. I'm not mentally ill. It's like, yeah, but you say you don't remember what happened that day. Yeah, I don't remember. Then yeah, you're mentally ill. I don't know. They made her cry. He made her cry, and yeah. And so that was about the medication.
Someone that is crying doesn't mean that they are wrong. Correct. What's your question?
Were you singing?
No, but it sounds
Because
like...
your voice sounds like an angel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It was a bit funny, I have to say.
Oh, mental illness is funny now.
No, I didn't mean her mental illness was funny. It's just the situation. The room was funny.
Okay, so we find people crying funny. Okay.
Yes, Lou, it is amazingly funny. And then Princess asked me how much I liked her from 1 to 10. And I said, sometimes I like you less than other times.
Well, that's a nothing burger.
And I said, sometimes I like you 8, and sometimes I like you 2.
Jen, when you started to say that the settlers were a minority of Israelis, did you disagree with that?
No, I'm saying he didn't say that those, and it's not the settlers, it's those settlers that are now doing like those outposts. In his previous speech of 2011, he said that this is like a very small fragment of the Israeli society, and that they're condemned, yada yada yada, whatever. And he didn't say any of it.
Yeah. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
You're pissing Daniel off.
What?
You're pissing him off.
I was asking for clarification.
Clarification at the end.
I'm joking.
Sense today. What what's your tamales?
Your joke's not funny. Respectfully.
Oh! I didn't say that.
What are you saying about tamales?
I said, what is in your tamales? You had 2 jokes at my expense today. Earlier today, there was I don't know, he said something, and Meyer had to tell me it was a joke.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, me neither. Wasn't memorable.
Everything I say is memorable.
Well, you can't even remember that.
Well, that must be mental illness.
My narcissism, you mean?
Hostility patient.
Honey, do you have allergies?
No, I'm tired. Anywho, let's see what's up in the news.
Baby blue.
I miss Princess Anna.
You get over it.
Oh shit. Mierda. I fucked up. Well, anyway.
Good luck.
Who are you, Louis Stickles?
Lou.
Lou Cheese.
Lou.
Low Cheese.
He's Lou.
No, legends. Allegedly.
Logisticals.
Allegedly. Okay.
Logisticals. He is good at coming up with words that start with his name. Logistics.
Read this article in the chat. Tell me what you think.
That's ludicrous. Okay.
Ludicrous.
Luges?
Ludicrous. Have you ever been ludicrous?
I've listened. He makes great movies. Ludicrous.
Lou, have you ever been ludicrous? Is he there in the room still? Oh yeah, he's in the room. Why are you ignoring me? You.
Oh, sorry. Because you're a woman. What'd you ask me?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was asking you if you have ever been ludicrous.
How's it going? I don't know what you're asking me.
Have you ever been ludicrous, like your name?
Loudrix.
Yeah, ludicrous.
Is that resistance in the audience? Yeah. You're not allowed in any room now, so it's
Oh, new PTR. Let's check this one out.
Oh, resistance? Oh, do you want to bring him up?
Maybe get a picture of him. Resistance? The same guy?
Yeah, he's resistant. Okay,
Page one. I thought it was resistance.
No. Maybe someone else, but this one is resisting humanity.
It is resistance.
Without your master.
Hey, are you resistant?
So he updated his name. Now he's honest about resisting humanity.
Cute little cat.
He's after the Rikers. Yeah, that's right. Europeans be crawled into the Middle East.
What? Wait, what'd you say?
What did you say, Julian?
I said we're gonna resist all of you dirty Europeans that crawled into the Middle East begging from the Nazis. Yeah, he got fucked in the ass in Rikers. You're right. Julian, your father raped you. He said, did you bring him out? Oh wow, that's disgusting. Well, we'll talk about it later. I'm having Auschwitz stew tonight, everybody. Would you like? Even Amir said he will not bring him on stage anymore.
Oh, really?
You know why he don't like me? Because I don't let his bullshit in his fucking.
That is bringing the bullshit to another level.
Exactly, and everyone is allowed to speak like the whatever, like anyone. You think that I'm gonna allow that Amir? Tell me what how can you do this, Amir? How could you like listening to you homosexuals for some reason? I don't know. How could you get Amir to like not to like? How did you like? Yes, I don't get it. Cause I told him I don't want to hear you homosexuals talking too much.
But it's also what I know of. Like, why do you assume the rest of us are homosexuals?
Hold on. So you came here to speak to us? Daniel is a homosexual. Yeah, so exactly. You came here. Exactly.
Flying homosexuals. You don't even understand what
And Daniel is subhuman.
Oh, but then why are you talking to subhuman people? You came.
I don't. We will destroy them. We're gonna destroy them.
Who is we?
Islam, of course.
Now you understand.
Islam. The dude is Muslim since his like I don't know his latest prison time, and now he thinks that he owns Islam, that he's fucking Muhammad.
Yeah.
Dude. Yes, we're gonna destroy you, filthy little Zionist, atheist animals. Yeah. That you're representing too many babies. You are representing Islam, do you think? Do you think that you're representing Islam? Of course, killing you animals, yes. And that is exactly what is the problem with your people. No, our people have a sound mind. We destroy, we kill anyone who wants to kill innocent women and children.
Who is his people? He doesn't even have any people. Nobody claims him.
No. Even his people are like disowning him. No, you're European. You Europeans are animals.
Hey, someone last night said you're Puerto Rican. Are you Puerto Rican or Dominican?
Whatever they want me to be.
That explains why he sounds like Lil
He's Dominican.
You're Dominican?
I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Ashkenazi, I'm Mizrahi, I'm all of them.
Nobody claims him. That's sad.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great thing not to be claimed.
Oh yeah. Or else having a good old time.
The Nazis claimed the Zionists, though. The Nazis claimed you guys. Why don't you wanna live?
Claim the Jews.
Don't you wanna live like under like a Muslim rule, under Sharia law? Like, why don't you go to like a place that is more in line with your values?
Well, we are. I'm going to Palestine. Northern Syria.
Yalla,
Moving to Palestine.
how are you getting there?
Like, where are you going? It's not on a map. Capital is Jerusalem, baby. They won't let you rest.
Actually, you know what?
You know what? Let's meet there. Let's meet there.
I would support it, and I would contribute to paying your flight to Israel. I would love to see.
How are you gonna pay
I would love to see what happens with you as soon as you put one foot on
He
that.
said, who are you gonna blow to get the money? Because you don't work. Oh, how do you
What?
work?
But I
Who
don't
are you gonna blow to get the money?
Good.
Who are you gonna blow to get the money?
As usual, the watermelon is projecting his failures on the water. What is your job? Resistance. What's your job? Do you work?
I'm in my office right now.
What is the office doing?
My office, I'm relaxing right now.
And my mom.
Relaxing.
But we know you're gay. You know you don't work. You just sleeping with some white man.
No, there's a lot of money
in OnlyFans for gay people because Daniela's on here 24/7 just like Juliana. So I know you.
What's your job?
What's your job? They got their retirement.
Did you also call it a job?
Daniela, how old is your boyfriend? 65, 70?
I don't have a boyfriend.
Daniela got a sugar daddy.
Yeah, he doesn't have a boyfriend.
I'm happily married, dude.
Married to
And if you will see my husband, even you will get a hard on. You will get a hard on.
Is your husband, is he a Jew too? I'll say my wife. Oh, she's right there. Daniela, is your husband a Jew too?
He's double Jew.
Yes, he's There's my wife. Daniel, put up your husband. Let's see. Oh my God, you got 30 Jews fucking each other in their ass is crazy.
But no one loves you, resistance, and no one loves you. You don't have like a
Well, at least they do it consensually, not like you in jail.
So you mean like the pedophiles that they put harbors?
Not like it happened to you in
You mean
jail.
like the American pedophiles that go to Israel because they harbor them? Got some good
no. They go to
headlines.
if they go to a Sharia law country like Iraq, where you can marry like a 9-year-old. Go to Iraq with all your Muslim brothers and marry a 9-year-old.
The Talmud says you can marry a 2-year-old.
Dude,
The rabbi said you can marry 3-year-olds.
Resistance. What is the marriage? Okay, shut up. So, what was the age of
Isaac married Rebecca when she was 3?
What is the marriage? What is the marriage age? Oh my God! What is? Hold on, Yaakov.
Of the camels and all of their vegetables.
Don't answer it, Yaakov. Don't answer it. My God.
He needs to understand facts from the.
No, he doesn't need to understand facts, Yaakov, because he doesn't care for facts.
The rabbi
It's resistance.
was 3 years
Send your effort to someone who matters. Resistance.
Rabbi said it was 3-year-old Rebecca. That's when
Resistance.
promise.
Resistance in 2025.
No.
Hold on, Yaakov, 1 second. Resistance. My God. In 2025, today, what is the age that you can marry a woman in Iraq, for example?
I don't know what the legal age in Iraq is.
According to it's a Sharia law country, so you should know.
I can tell you what it is in Germany. In Germany, it's
Oh my
13
God.
years old, I believe.
You believe. And I ask you about the Sharia countries.
Yeah,
Under
I'm
the
telling you,
Sharia
in
law.
your country, in your Germany.
And I'm asking you, under Sharia law. Under Sharia law.
Consensual sex is
Under
at 13
Sharia
years
law.
old in Germany.
Under Sharia law. Under Sharia law.
Under
What is the
German
age that
law,
Oh
Daniel,
my God. drop something.
Mohammed is a pedophile. Mohammed is a child molester.
I don't really like how this shit. Like resist, like you know, you brought him up. It's fine. Like it was a bit entertaining, but like
Yeah, enough.
we had enough, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mohammed is a pedophile.
PDF file.
Mohammed is a
It's a text document.
molester.
It's a text document.
Shit. It's a piece of shit done
A piece of shit. What?
No, it's pedophile, piece of shit, child molester. At least that's the way Shrupi sings it.
Oh, okay.
A child molester.
Everything that they blame us.
Can you imagine being in jail and not being able to say no to other men doing
I don't think you have a
doing boom boom to your bum?
Yeah, they're like 3 times you're being held down by 2 other guys. Like I don't think you have a chance.
Oh my God. Do you think you have to take a shower? Do you think
You have like the whole graphics.
Throughout the soap, my God. It's called a welcome party.
Come on, they use liquid soap by now.
Oh, Luke?
Oh my God, Lou. Oh my God.
My God. Yeah. You're all such Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Yeah, Jacob, this is too much for you.
Oh my God, read the comment. Imagine being an unattractive white Jewish woman that sleeps with her father. Who is he talking about?
I suggest there's a reason why we don't really need to like engage with him. Like he can talk in the chat and kind of vent out all his like nonsense.
Wait,
I might be the Jewish woman he's talking about.
wait, who is that person?
Me?
Your friend resistance.
No, but who is he?
I don't know.
It's
I
me.
don't know. You're not
No,
serious.
you were converted in the past.
Don't tell him.
She just has to make
He
about
calls
her.
me a Jewish woman. Let him think I'm Jewish.
That's a compliment.
I thought you were South American, right?
Yeah,
One of those shithole places.
Guatemala.
That's in Central America.
I'm a beaner.
Jeff calls them mountain Mexicans.
I'm a beaner, baby.
I'm a mountain Mexican. That's right.
Have you Cinco de Mayo?
No, actually, you know,
Oh, what's today?
that is an American thing. It's not celebrated in Mexico or in any other part of Latin America.
I've never heard this mountain Mexican thing.
Yeah, the Cinco de Mayo was made by the Mexicans living in the U.S. and it was because of a battle or something that happened in the U.S. Yeah, but it's not don't celebrate it.
Oh, that's what you get.
Are you okay?
That's what you get.
Stop.
Yeah, what was that? The women and the children. What happened?
It was a lot.
I dropped a porcelain plate and I think it didn't break.
Okay, but now try to spin it to blame Israel or the Jews for it.
Yeah, you guys are talking to me. It was your fault.
That was some amazing Jew luck, though, that it didn't break.
Oh, you're calling the Jews lucky. That sounds a little inappropriate.
Yeah, we are known for our like people.
No, that's the Irish. Don't they have that like leprechaun guy? We don't have a leprechaun guy. We just get interest.
You guys like
We don't deal with
They're
luck.
president, no.
We have like precision. We have calculations. Luck is like variable. Like, oh, hopefully we'll make some money this year.
I was saying it more in the
We cannot hear you.
Can hear you.
You're not missing much.
Oh, was that Lou? Was that you?
Yeah. Respectfully.
Is your name Luges or is it like Luges?
Logistics.
Oh, I've been saying Luges I'm so sorry. I thought that's what you wanted people to say. I don't know why.
It's spelled so it's confusing people.
I didn't actually expand it to see in your profile. Logisticals. It's like testicles. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
No, it's a play of words of all the words together. It's Lou, it's Jill, it's Tickles, it's logisticals.
But it's logistics, not logisticals.
Is everything okay? So do you need some humanitarian aid?
What'd you call it?
Humanitarian aid.
That's a good one, actually.
No, I don't need humanitarian. I don't need to do humanitarian.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I like that. That's pretty good. You should copyright that.
You want to put it in the title of the room? So
Yeah, definitely.
Put humanitarian.
Leave me be.
with an E, right?
I'm going to use that one in our place called humanitarian. Humanitarian.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I am so thankful that I'm taking a break. I'm impressed actually. Just it felt completely.
I bet if it was someone else's plate, it would have broke.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it. My hearing sucks.
I thought I heard it shatter.
Yeah, because it didn't have a little spoon in it. And so it sounded like. Where is Jeff, by the way?
I think he has, no, he doesn't have a room. So what happened to Soren? Speaking of what happened to.
Yeah, that's true. Where is Soren?
I hope everything is okay.
You're so.
What? I hope nothing happened to him. What?
My God.
I hope everything's okay with Soren.
Is he okay? Like, he hasn't been on the app in like a month and a half. Like, do you think he's in jail in Indonesia for being gay?
Nobody knows and nobody cares.
What did you do to him?
I think he got recalled by the IRGC. He's in Tehran.
Did you send him someone or something, Daniel?
I cannot deny it, but maybe someone that...
He was outed in a country that does not like gay people.
You cannot deny nor confirm?
Yeah, no.
But I kept on saying multiple occasions that he lived in Bali.
I don't believe a word that he said about himself.
I think he was in Europe.
You think so? Soren has such a Norwegian, Nordic sounding name.
Well, the name is...
The name is Nordic.
Yeah, the name...
His name was Puria.
See, I thought that was Norm just joking with him. I didn't realize it was really his name.
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
I've never heard that Persian first name Puria.
Pour yourself a drink.
That's a good one. Who noticed Puria?
Thank you, Jakob.
You said thank you, asshole?
Oh, it's Jakob. I thought because I was going to Luchas, you thank you, Jakob. Like, Diego does that from time to time. Like, I want to reach out through the phone and slap his ass.
Jakob.
So, jack off. No, you have to be more of a J. See, you're culturally culturally inhibited from saying that because your tongue, you just don't have that j sound in Spanish.
Yes, we
It
do.
becomes a Y. No, it becomes more like a Y.
No, yes.
La Jolla. Instead
No, no.
Yes.
But we do have the J sound, the don't loud.
The J sound.
Yeah.
I just, all the Spanish people I've met, they really don't do the J as hard as we do.
Jacob, are you going to try to teach me Spanish?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying my experience of speaking with Spanish people. I just don't
Well,
think
your
the J's are...
experience is nothing.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
We do have the J sound, and it's a double L.
What is that?
Like dramatic.
Like Jew.
Oh my God.
Like Jew. Also, when the Y goes to the front, you also pronounce it as Jacob.
Oh my God.
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
No, Jeffrey is with J, and it's English.
Yes, so do you close your eyes just before the J sound?
Oh, wow.
Wow, that was good. That was a good one. That was really good.
She didn't deny it. Oh, thank you.
Lou, you're into baseball, right?
That's right.
That's right. You're into baseball? Yeah.
No, well, like, I played in college, but I don't really follow it anymore. But,
Yeah, he got too old.
The knees
do you have any advice for me, Issa? Like, how did you deal with that?
With becoming old?
How's it going? Good.
Lou, what do you do for business?
You don't have to answer that.
Questions at the end.
What?
Questions at the end.
Okay. I found that most people, if you take an honest interest in what they do, will answer you.
Sometimes.
My background
not
is
everyone.
like B2B sales, but right now I'm kind of trying to figure out what direction I want to go in.
Is Daniel still there?
He left.
Oh. in the Bitcoin room today.
Oh, well, they must just slice you.
Well, it was someone I don't know, and I haven't even spent time today there. I think it must have been because I opened the room, and so maybe somebody reported the room.
Wait, bothered you said?
Reported me.
Oh, reported? Like, how do you know that you got reported? Like, what is
Because one of the admins of the club sent a screenshot that I was reported, but I think it must have been because I opened the room.
If you're allowed to open a room, like, should be allowed to open a room. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but somebody must have reported the room, so the report was at night.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, I would have reported you.
So guys actually talk about Bitcoin in those rooms or just Oh, yeah. Sure.
How you feeling, Yakov?
Doing okay. Sort of hurts me. Yeah.
Good? No.
You're like 27?
What?
Yeah. Seem young. Just trying to figure out how young.
Oh, no, I'm 34.
34? Okay, 27's close.
Huh?
27 isn't too far off.
What's that?
You'll take it, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Where do you live? Where do you live?
Arizona.
New York. Oh, Arizona. That's nice. I'd love to live there. Pretty hot though.
It gets a little warm.
But it's a dry heat, as they say.
No, that's real. It really is.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I remember the first time I walked
out here is a lot less. It's more bearable than like 90.
Oh no, it's much better. I'd rather have your 115 than our 90, or even our 85.
Yeah. I grew up in Rhode Island, and
Really?
after the first. Yeah,
Whereabouts?
after my first year. Cumberland.
Oh, Cumberland. Okay. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Worcester. Just up Route 146 in Patch.
Yeah, 146. Yeah.
I think that's the road that goes down there.
Yeah, 146. Yeah.
Boy, that just came right back into my head. I was like, surprised that my memory worked that well.
I honestly, I wouldn't have, if you asked me,
which highway connected
what the number, I would have remembered 146, but now, I remember that.
Double checking. Where is that, where'd you say? What town?
Cumberland?
Cumberland.
I think the top right corner.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. Yeah, southeast of Woonsocket.
Yeah.
You know what the original name of your state was?
The state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations?
Yeah, it was just Rhode Island and Providence Plantation. Although they officially changed it just a couple years ago, like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, during the whole Black Lives Matter stuff.
Yeah. Well, they missed that Black Lives Matter by a few years, but.
Really? Yeah, I thought it was like during 2020.
I don't know. Yeah, but wasn't the Black Lives Matter like whenever that guy was killed, like 2014 or 15? Let me see when they changed it.
Yeah, but I think They changed the name in response to like the whole like George.
Yeah, but wasn't that like
whole 20? I think the George Floyd stuff was in like 2020.
Oh, what?
2014.
I thought the George Floyd stuff was like 10 years ago.
No, dude, you're thinking of like what was it, Trayvon Martin or something? One of the other. I forget what or Michael
Black
Taylor.
Lives Matter was only 4 years ago. Oh, so did they change it as 2020?
The original like founding.
Oh, actually, you were correct. I was wrong. It's the state of Rhode Island and Providence plantations. Now it's
I didn't know that. I didn't know that until like they never taught us that.
Of course not. It was gonna like say, hey, we're going by a plantation.
Well, no, yeah, but I don't know why. I don't know what took them so long to change it, or I don't know. That might be like actually like a kind of a pain in the ass, like to change. I don't know.
So let's see. When did Yeah, I was right. Black Lives Matter movement began in 2013 after the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the fatal shooting of Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
So it was like 7 years after Black Lives Matter that Rhode Island changed its name. It wasn't like in response to it.
Well, no, it was in response to the whole like the George Floyd, the guy that overdosed, in Minnesota. That's that whole summer, the summer of love, all that. Like that's what I think. Like that's definitely the reason why they changed it.
Yeah, I mean they're just. I guess things work slowly in Rhode Island.
No, I don't think they had any intentions of changing it. It's that whole. If what happened in 2020 never happened, I don't think they would have changed the name.
No, and it just means they just would have waited for someone to say, it's really strange.
I wonder how many plantations, like, how many slaves were there in Rhode Island?
I don't know. I'm on ChatGPT. We'll find out.
Because, like, plantation doesn't inherently mean.
Yeah, I know. It just means it's a place where you grow stuff. It doesn't say the type of labor force. But it does have this really bad connotation.
Yeah. Have you ever been down to Newport?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, they have.
There's some serious money there.
Oh, yeah.
I like Block Island. I'm a big fan of Block Island.
Yeah, Block Island's nice. I've been a couple times.
That's part of Rhode Island, right?
Yeah. Sail away on the Block Island 30.
Huh. Yeah, I actually did a report for my graduate school, and I remember learning that north part of Rhode Island was founded by Roger Williams, the south part by Anne Hutchinson of the Hutchinson River Parkway, and here we have in New York. She went up there. So it says in 1636, Roger Williams, Puritan theologian, exiled from Massachusetts Bay Colony for his religious beliefs, founded the settlement of Providence. He named it Providence Plantations to express gratitude for what he considered divine guidance. At the time, the term plantation referred to a colony or settlement, not large-scale agricultural estates associated with slavery.
Yeah. Yeah, they have the Roger Williams Park Zoo.
Yeah, and he was really into separation of church and state. Actually, I think I have my Roger Williams video on YouTube. Here's some corny ass shit. I paste something into the chat, and doesn't allow me to hit the enter.
Oh, sometimes that happens.
Have you noticed the same thing?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a glitch but yeah, it's happened to me.
Yeah, it's really annoying. So we got a turntable last week. Really enjoying it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I had a lot of old records when I grew up. That's all we had were records. Sounds really good. I forgot how good they sound. Very warm sound.
You're an INFJ?
What?
So you're an INFJ?
Yeah, according to that test I took. Why?
That's interesting. I wouldn't have, I guess I don't know you that well, but...
Yeah, why? What would you think I am?
I wouldn't have guessed the F. I would have,
The F?
Yeah.
What does the F mean?
Feeling.
Yeah.
I believe. ENTP.
What are you?
NTP.
What is that?
It's the, logician sort of archetype. Yeah. We're, it's a small number of the population. I think like 3% or so. Probably not. We're usually awkward. I'm an ITP. Like, dude, when I first learned about that stuff, it was very interesting because I've never understood people. I always had a hard time sort of like, I wouldn't say communicating, but I just didn't understand how people would act or process things.
Can't hear you too well.
Yeah.
You're gonna get losing.
It's interesting that.
Oh, lost you. Glitches.
Hello.
Oh. Do you really have all those tattoos?
Well, I have 2 full sleeves. Yeah, that image is not. That's not what the tattoos look like.
But it's sort of like the area covered is the same.
Yeah.
How much would that cost, approximately?
My right arm was about probably like 2,500 each arm.
Do they finance that shit?
No.
Pay cash?
I do pay cash.
Oh.
But it's like, I mean, like mine is, because mine's kind of like, it's a lot of ink. It's over the course of like, 3 or 4 sessions.
Over how much time? 3 or 4 sessions over how many days or weeks?
You need ideally at least 2 weeks in between to let it heal. But I mean, it's like mine. This was over the course of, I don't know, probably like 4 months, 5 months. it's just not. That's not really how it works. It depends on the artist too, the tattoo guy, like whatever their availability is. But mine, yeah, my right arm was probably 6 months or so. I don't, that's the thing about it. I did it as fast as possible. But then my left arm is technically, it's still not finished. I need to go back, but that one was a lot cheaper. That was only probably like, I don't know, maybe 1,500.
Did it really hurt?
No, it's not as bad as they make out at all. But I suppose it's a pain tolerance thing. There's certain areas that have, a little more nerve ending. They're less pleasant than other areas.
Mm-hmm.
But surprisingly, the elbow, because I was a pitcher. Yeah, that's what you would think, but in a weird way, it actually felt good. I have a lot of floating, my right elbow from baseball, I got bone chips and whatnot, and there was something about the vibration and the deal where it actually kind of almost felt like it massaged it, but yeah, but on on my inner forearm, that right around the elbow area, that very I'm talking out loud myself.
What's up?
Keegan's holding forth in another room.
You doing what?
Keegan is holding forth in another room. It really rankles me sometimes. He's like a serious version of Diego. Diego jokes around, but Keegan lives it.
Diego's a very intelligent guy.
I didn't say he wasn't.
No, I know. But he, a lot of people, I don't think they take him the right way. He likes to sort of play with concepts or ideas that he doesn't necessarily believe in or agree with.
And then there's also some that he does believe with that he masks his belief by joking about them. So you think he doesn't actually believe in them, when in fact he does, and that's just a theory I have.
Yeah, Keegan, I don't know Keegan very well, to be honest. I don't. Yeah. I don't really hear him talk about really anything other than like Jews and Christianity. That's basically it.
Yeah, he doesn't have a wide repertoire.
One of those topics. No. Google DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis warns that AGI could arrive within the next 5 to 10 years, yet society remains unprepared.
What can arrive in the next 5 to 10 years?
AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Yeah, it's basically, it depends on what, the sort of, I guess, agreed upon general definition is AI that can do most tasks.
Can it create new concepts? See, I think the word intelligence is being thrown around far too much. It's a bunch of heuristic programs that the computer follows. It's coding. It's not like creating a new type of rocket or developing synthesizing new concepts.
Well, I don't know, that seems a bit more, I don't know if nuances. I mean, OpenAI has claimed that their O3 model and their O4, their O4 model. There's 4.0, then there's O1, which is their advanced reasoning, and then there's the O3, which is more efficient, more advanced reasoning, and then now there's the O4. Their naming of their models is horrible, but so their O4 model, I think they put a paper out, but they basically said that it is capable of generating new concepts.
So then they'll start attributing patents to this thing?
Don't know. I know that's a good question as to who would technically.
No. What I forget who owns it. That this thing will create things that are patentable.
That's their claim, yeah, 100%, yeah.
I don't buy it for a second.
Why? Do you think it's not possible inherently, or do you just think it?
Yeah, in the constraints, I hate to use a buzzword, but you have to think differently. When you're generating something new, you won't generate something new if you're bound by the constraints of what has been. I don't want to sound like the former vice president, I'm burdened by the past, or whatever her phrase was. Like, how do you create something new when you're writing code which inherently constrains something? It's only as good as what you've told it can do.
Well, okay.
I've been involved with computers since 1978. So, and maybe I'm too old with computers, but the reality is they're still they're algorithms. They're not. We haven't figured out how the human mind is able to, all of a sudden invent an airplane. To think of not a physical airplane, but to design in one's mind a lighter than air vehicle and write out on paper something that is the description that can then be determined if it's feasible or not, right?
Yeah.
So the Wright brothers had these drawings of a plane. They said, okay, it's going to have this curved airfoil, it's going to have a flat airfoil, and the pressure differential between the high pressure on the top and the low pressure on the bottom, because air goes over this curve faster, the Bernoulli effect. They're figuring all this shit out, and this thing weighs more than the air, but it's going to float. How the fuck? Tell me, how do you do that shit?
Well, yeah, that's.
Or Robert Goddard in the rocket. I'm gonna stick some fuel in this tube, and Newton's first law, or I think it's first law, I'm sorry, it's the third law. And I'm gonna light it off, and flame's gonna come out the back, so it's gonna propel it upwards, and then we're gonna figure out how to guide it by making the fins movable. That's invention upon invention upon invention. I don't understand. Maybe it's beyond my comprehension how we can program something we ourselves cannot even conceive of.
Well, but that's kind of an interesting idea, though, right? Because could you say, wouldn't you? I mean, obviously we're able to do it with our minds, so it is. This might be a weird framing, but we are bound by some sort of constraints that we don't even quite understand as far as how our minds work. So simply saying that something is bound by code. How do you have an emergent effect or a capability? How do you create something that's able to create new ideas when we don't really understand how we create new ideas?
And more importantly, it has to work autonomously.
Well, okay, so define autonomously, because there's a very interesting issue that they have with these large language models called the interpretability issue. I don't know if you're familiar with that, where they don't understand how these models are working. They understand how to put the inputs, the training data, but they don't quite understand where it's pulling.
I can't hear you.
It doesn't. It's not.
Start again. They don't understand.
They don't understand exactly how these models are. So, for example, you can look at the training data set and you can say, okay, well, if there's an exact, if the problem and the solution to a question actually exists in the data set, then you could say, okay, well, it's in the data set, so therefore it's not actually reasoning its way to find the answer. But they don't quite understand exactly how it is able, where it's pulling the information from when it is reasoning. It's called the interpretability problem. They really don't understand why there was a certain level of capabilities and expectations that they would that they could sort of scale up and predict it would be able to do X, Y, and Z. But then there was some sort of wall that they burst through where these models start having all these emergent capabilities that they really can't explain why it's able to do. They don't understand it, which is I'm doing a poor job explaining it because I don't quite understand how they don't understand it.
That's fine. They don't even understand themselves. So what I meant by autonomous was to leave it by itself, and it autonomously says, here's a solution to a problem that we have, and you haven't told me, oh, figure out how to reduce pollution. Because when you say figure out how to reduce pollution, it may then, let's say somehow in ways that I don't know, it looks at all the research and says, okay, people have tried X, Y, and Z, but they haven't tried Z prime because they missed it, and there's a relationship between A and C that gets you to Z prime. Like somehow it figures out something that we haven't done. Because like if there's 10 different answers and humankind has produced 9, maybe it could figure out that there's a missing one and go off and figure out what that missing one. But you've told it solve this problem. What I'm talking about autonomy is you're leaving it idle. And it's just thinking, and it's doing its thing, and it says, you know what? I can create teleportation. Just make up a really strange sounding technology, right?
Yeah.
And here's how it works. Here's how it's gonna work. And you didn't ask me to do it, but I've been sitting thinking about like how can we move from point A to point B in a nanosecond, and it's at 15,000 miles an hour away, right? That's what I mean by autonomy. That's what I mean by autonomy. It's working on its own. You haven't told it what to do, and it figures out a solution to a problem that, it can think about on its own.
Okay, so give me
catch me up on this. What are you guys talking about?
Talking about the I in AI.
So what would be give an example or something that you would say would be a indication of autonomy that doesn't have to go to the lengths, because, and the reason I'm asking it this way is because there's a new research paper that came out that when they talk about autonomy, they're not quite using the definition that you're using, but in the definition that you just used, there's a paper that just came out that basically shows that the models are actually, I can pull it up for you if you'd like. The models are, quote unquote, thinking even when they're not on
Tasked. When they're not tasked.
Yeah, which is like a new thing. This was not. No. Like, let me see if I can find the paper. I don't want to fuck this up. Hold on.
Daniel, how are you doing? We kept your room alive.
That's fine. No, he's on the phone.
Oh, I can't see him. I'm looking at the phone.
Because it is an interesting thing. It's like, okay, if it's not being tasked with anything, at what point is it actually displaying some level of autonomy? These things are. The more I've looked into this stuff, and I'm not like, I'm obsessed with it. Like I probably sell myself short with regards to like how much I do know about, but I don't understand under the hood. I'm not at that level.
I'm just a user. I say more than I probably should, only because I'm not constrained by. I don't know all that's going on. Clearly, I mean, there's capabilities are far in excess of what I could comprehend, or at least what I've been exposed to. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Well, that's the case for most people, and I get very much into the weeds with this stuff, and like there's probably to the point where it's almost, you could say, like a waste of my time, because I could be using this stuff a more productive way, maybe so that benefits my life. But I can't help it. I just like get autistic, and I don't know. Like I find it so fascinating. So I'm very much in like trying to like understand what the fuck these things are actually doing and what they're capable of, more from like a philosophical perspective, but I'm not really as fascinated by like what I can automate with it as I am as like what is this new thing. Because I think we're gonna have a very hard time. Most people don't really acknowledge that we really know very little about the human mind and how our brains work.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely.
It seems with the little understanding that we have that these models actually aren't all that different than what we do know about. Like you can say, okay, this thing is predicting the next token. Which is that is true. They're predicting the next token, and it's really, if you can make an argument as to how we're all that different, that'd be interesting. But we kind of operate similarly. Like our minds are, you could say, predicting the next word in our thought process. It's very fuzzy. There's not like a clear distinction that like, oh, we operate so much differently than these models. We like it feels like we do for sure. Like we have the sense of self and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like what actually is pushing our thoughts? Like we think we control them, and to some extent we do, but you would say. Here, I found the
Actually, I don't know how you program Quest into a computer. We have a burning quest to push the envelope to, if a car goes 200 miles on a tank of gas, somebody wants to figure out how to make it go 350, 400, 500. Like, I don't know how you program desire or quest for knowledge or the things that underpin why we do the things that we do. You're just talking about how we do the things that do. But what pushes us, what propels us, is emotional. How the hell do you code that? How do you get a computer excited to continue day after day after day, slogging through a problem?
Like synthetic dopamine?
Yeah, essentially. Like Thomas Edison, man, the shit that came out of Menlo Park. He fell flat on his head like day after day after day until he got it right.
Here, I'm gonna put a link.
Bro, why are you looking like that? What's the side eye for?
I'll find the paper and I can send it to you on Telegram.
Here.
This is a video talking about, they're referring to it as sleep time compute, but it's essentially, I think this fits the definition that you gave for it as far as what would like constitute autonomy.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
And the link at the top, to the video.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah. Here you go.
Here you go. Princess, yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I think, I guess, Jakob, you're not convinced. Lou thinks that, we're going to the next level, right?
I think Lou's like fully ingested everything that the AI industry wants us to believe and is just. I wouldn't say I'm sure.
I get what you're saying.
I think he's not as skeptical as I am. I think that they do major important things, but I think the word intelligence is being thrown around too much. Artificial intelligence. No, it's artificial. It's computer programming. They only do what they're programmed to do.
I think that year ago, Lou sent me some stuff from AI that he thought was better than it was, but when I actually started to read the output, it wasn't as impressive as I believe he thought it was looking. That was a big problem in the early days. However, using AI today, I'm gonna say that while I'm not as convinced as Lou, it's definitely gone to this next level where it's doing some, whatever you want to call it, whatever tasks it's performing, it's acting in a way that I can't predict. It's not consistently great, but sometimes it's really like surprising.
It fell flat on its feet a couple days ago. A friend of mine, asked a question because it keeps a history of all the questions you ask. So I said, okay, let's try something. Ask it to tell you what your strengths are, and it came back with this, 5 or 6 page thing filled with, platitudes, about what a thinker he is and the type. It was essentially based on the depth of the question versus the broadness of the question, or based on things that are quantifiable versus sort of just theory or other things, quant versus qualitative. I came back with a description of this person, and he's like, "This is me dead on." I was like, "Okay, fine, yeah, it sounds a lot like you, but let's ask the thing. What do you need to work on? What are your shortcomings?"
Yeah.
Right? And it fell flat on its face. The shortcomings were all in relationship to the positives, only the things that it knew. And it framed it in a way like, while you're really good at this, some people may not like it. So it essentially was just taking the positives and turning them into negatives. It didn't come back and say, hey, are you trying to figure out your shortcomings as it relates to work, find a job, your shortcomings as it relates to, your home life with your girlfriend or your boyfriend? Like,
it was just a broad question.
Yeah, the question was, what are my shortcomings? Right? Now, it didn't come back and say, here is the, what's the word I'm looking for? The rubric with which I'm going to come up and figure out, because your shortcomings are the needs that you have, your goals, minus what your current capabilities are equals your shortcomings, right? And where you're at minus where you want to be minus where you're at equals the gap, the delta. It just skipped over that whole part and just sort of said, okay, because here's an example, because you're so quantitative and you need to qualify everything with a number, people who don't like that may be put off. So, all it did was take the inverse of all of the things it knew about me, or to my friend, and this is not my friend proverbial. It really literally was a friend. We were doing it on Clubhouse Live. We're doing it on Clubhouse.
That's so funny.
It's not like, I have a friend who has a problem. It's not.
You doxed yourself.
No, not at all. It was Edward. It wasn't. We went through this exercise.
Oh, fuck Edward.
But
he lied.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's not evil. Fuck him.
I didn't. We were talking about AI. We weren't talking about Palestine or Israel or anything. We're just having a discussion on technology, and I think the thing fell flat on its face with that response.
Why did you leave us, Princessia?
Why did you leave us?
Oh, because I went to speak to my sister.
Which one?
Both of them.
Oh, both of them, right?
Yeah, but I was helping my niece during the weekend with math because she's gonna have a test today. So.
Ooh, what kind of math?
Math? No, math.
Math, M-A-T-H, right?
Yeah.
No, what type?
Oh, just like she's 10. She's
10.
starting
Okay.
to see,
Word problem.
Fraction.
Yeah, fraction. Yeah. Adding fractions with unlike denominators.
Yeah, but it was a nightmare.
You have a 10-year-old sister?
No, niece. Critical listening, niece.
You have 2 sisters.
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay.
And they have 1 kid each. And they're both 11, well, 10 and 11. They're 6 months now. They got pregnant at the same time.
Wow.
They're twins.
Imagine if your twin sisters married twin brothers.
No, but they married friends.
My mom and one of her sisters married brothers.
You know, there's this really interesting genetic thing where
yeah, but that's
twins.
Normal yeah, because you guys have got a lot of inbreeding.
No, that's not. It's not. Isa.
Diego, get this.
Wait. Sisters married brothers.
I know, but that.
Yeah, it's not the norm. It's not the norm.
I'm just joking.
It's becoming the norm in Europe.
Yeah, that's because, guess what?
I know.
You know, yeah, so.
They are cousins.
Twin sisters.
What I was about to say, were they cousins?
Yeah, they're twin cousins.
So here's a cool thing. If twin sisters marry twin brothers, their kids are both cousins and brothers at the same time.
No,
yes, they're called quadrilineal. They're called quadrilineal twins because the mothers, they inherit the same DNA from their mother and the same DNA for their father. So 50% is from both their mother and from their aunt, and 50% is from their father and their uncle. So they're cousins and brothers at the same time.
Yeah, but the expression is different from the epigenetics. But
no, it's called quadrilineal twins.
But I would say that in that case, like you can wife swap or whatever, and it's not immoral.
Do you think that they could figure out, like, on a date that
manages to bring it to the next level.
That sounds more like Randy, Diego.
You're literally having sex with the same person.
No, I think emotionally there are probably big differences. And if you ask the right question,
they are like these type of sisters that are together, that have like 2 heads or whatever.
Oh,
conjoined.
Siamese twin conjoined.
Yeah, joint, exactly, joint sisters. I mean, and they get married. I mean, that
one of them has a kid.
Doing his fantasy, right? It's 4 boobs.
Did you see? No. Did you see the
2 heads?
Did you see the women? I think they're in Ohio. 2 heads, 2 breasts, 1 uterus. So, and one of them got pregnant. And apparently, they got married. One of the heads, I don't know which, got married to a guy. But somehow, like, I could make a claim legally that they both, since there's 1 uterus, both parents could claim that they are the mother. But apparently one is just claiming that she's the mother. I don't know how that works when you share 1 uterus.
The law has limitations.
What?
The law has its limitations.
Yeah, it wasn't built to deal with this situation.
Yeah, I don't know that it can't be. No. I mean, I don't know about that particular case, but sometimes.
They got married 2 years ago in silence. No one, they kept it a secret.
Let me
see if I can find it. I'll find a picture. I'll find you the article.
Yeah. What's really going to frustrate the government is regular people using AI like Lou and discovering these loopholes that cannot be, fixed.
What loopholes?
I don't know. I'm just saying a loophole where I can be the parent of a child but legally not accountable. Something like that.
Yeah, and you're going to hire Lou to find these things for you.
Lou will find them. Lou is going to be the next iteration of Doge. And there's going to, literally right now, if you just go on freaking ChatGPT or Grok, and you ask it to find contradictory laws that exist within the same field, it'll find them.
Okay, so
you need a Lou for that.
So here is Abby and Brittany. Look how their heads just barely are separated. They're on 1 frame, 2 heads. And that guy married one of them. I'm not sure which
You only
one.
have sex with one of them, right?
No, they only have one. They only have one uterus and one vagina. So he's having sex with both of them at the same time. Apparently, they both have orgasms.
Now the question is,
Really?
do they feel everything? Like,
Yes, they both.
both heads are both.
But he's only married to one of the heads.
Yes, exactly.
So he's pleasing both.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know how one of them could claim maternity. They should both have it. They both have an equal claim. They both are pregnant at the same time.
So they were the two-headed bitch. So they were issued two separate birth certificates?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
I think
that's
the law,
interesting.
two brains. I think who a person is based on the brain, not the.
And not even so, they will be smarter because they're women.
Yeah, I mean, Diego, he got a birth certificate and he's not a full brain, so yeah, I guess they would.
Well, it's gonna sound ridiculous, but it's like, okay, well, whose uterus is it, really? If
they share it.
Okay, well,
that's the funny thing. They're teachers, and they could teach different people, but the school system only pays them once. I found that, as a teacher, I found that amazing and I was pissed off about that.
What do you teach? What do you teach at both?
Oh, they teach before I retired, I just teach 5th grade.
Okay.
Sorry, Lou, you were saying?
Kids are smart at 5th grade, aren't they?
They're a pain in the fucking ass in 5th grade. Yeah, they're smart. But they're just starting to sweat, and they're just starting to, like in 4th grade, they're still like, oh, Mr. Stein.
They start to sweat, so
they smell. They start to smell. No, they literally start to smell. No, but in 4th grade,
are they
they're nice.
Or why are you being racist?
No, 4th grade, white kids too. 4th grade, they're nice. Oh, Mr. Steinberg, can I help you, like, with your pencils? No, I told my neighbor. I don't give a shit. I'm self-doxing. Look at with my profile. You can get my latitude and longitude.
Stein's money.
No.
It's just as bad as the dirty.
If you're smart, within 2 clicks, you can have the latitude and longitude of my house. Kids are very smart, but,
Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
What?
They're smart but stinky.
Yeah, well, no, they start to.
They have no opinions on it really the way at that age. Okay.
They just know, they say like free Palestine, they don't know what they're talking about, sort of like the college.
Oh, they do say it?
They hear it from their parents, they're like little
makes you feel any better. I'm not gonna talk about politics with mine, so.
Oh my God, how about you have kids you've reproduced?
Some say.
How many kids you got?
But
how many kids you got?
30 times.
I'm almost embarrassed to say at this point.
Oh, wait, more than... Are you going to increase... Wait, we need more kids in the United States. You have at least 3 kids?
He's helping the TFR rate significantly.
Yeah, we need the TFR above 2.1, so on average. So where are you?
Well, he's doing his part.
Oh, you're like at 6?
For himself.
Oh, he's pulling you. He's pulling your weight.
He's pulling my weight. I'm adopting Lou.
I have 3 kids, so I brought the national average up.
Nice.
Where are you like 5 or 6? Like, where are you? You're like Muslims, family size?
It's kind of complicated.
Is a way to counteract.
Are we talking multiple mothers? How complicated could it be? A total number is a total number. It's not complex.
I don't want you writing more reports on me and sending it to
Oh, please.
Those are too many questions, Jacob.
Oh my God, I asked one. How many kids do you
You're
have?
giving too many answers.
6 baby mamas.
6 baby. Wow.
Why do you want to say it? Why do you want to say it?
6.
Wow. It's like a black sky.
There's 6. Let's just say it like this, Yakov. Having children
is it a prime number? It is a mitzvah. Do you have a prime number of kids?
I don't know about prime and natural numbers. I don't know any of that stuff.
Well, 2, 3, 5, 7.
I have a prime number, yeah.
11. I can keep it going 13.
No, it has to be 5 or 7 because we have no reference, right? So it's either 5 or 7 as.
I don't know what a prime is, right?
Yeah, so 5 or 7 is the answer.
Are you familiar with the Donald Rumsfeld? We have known knowns and known unknowns.
No what? Wait, what's the Donald Rumsfeld? What did he say?
Nora, can you pull out that quote? Put Donald Rumsfeld known knowns.
No.
This is very important.
No.
Could you have more than 3 kids and not know about it?
Of course you could.
That's an important question, Danny.
He said there are unknown unknowns.
Yeah, that makes sense. So known knowns.
So you have to say the whole phrase.
Yeah, there are no knowns and unknown knowns. Unknown unknowns.
Exactly. There are known knowns. Then you have known unknowns.
Have you
then you have unknown unknowns.
Did you know never? What does it say then?
There are unknown unknowns.
Reports.
There are unknown
Reports that say something.
There are known unknowns.
Here,
Reports
reports that say
the reports that say that something hasn't happened are always interesting to me because, as we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know that there are some things that we do not know, but there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know. I agree.
Yeah, that's a surprise. Those are called surprises. He's making this really he's trying to obfuscate. It's the word surprise.
What do you mean they're called surprises?
Because look, there's stuff. Look here. Go through this list. There are known knowns. So those are definite things. We know that the sun will come up tomorrow, right? There are things we know. These are things that we know.
Oh my God! Don't try to explain it. We get it.
Okay, so we also know there are known unknowns, right? There are 5 different possibilities of, doing something. And then there are things that just come out of the blue. We did not expect it. There are unknown unknowns. There are known unknowns.
It reminds me of a concept called Munkit Medicals that I won't go down that path.
Is that some Islamic thing?
Yeah, I was listening to a lecture about it. But basically, the Medicals is a place that is uncreated and unknown.
But it has a name. Amazing.
It has a name. There you go. Yeah. And the Munk is everything in the.
You promised you were not going to get into it.
Oh my God, Issa.
Let's just say this at the teacher conferences, Yakov.
It's interesting.
People with many children are always your favorite parents.
Come on.
What?
I don't know. My friend came from a big family, but her parents, I don't know.
What's a big family? How many?
Obvious.
Well, I have a friend with 11, I think.
My mom got on birth control at 28. I wish she didn't.
Well, it's her body of
How
choice.
many brothers do you have, Princess?
I have 3
You don't
brothers.
answer that. You don't know.
Only 3.
Yeah.
Well, that's a small family for a Muslim.
Yeah, she got on birth control at 28. She finished having all this by 28.
Wow.
I mean, I don't agree with that, so.
Look at Meyer. He's got 9.
I didn't agree with that either.
Does he? Well, 9 kids.
Meyer has got 9 children and he's 45.
That's great.
Very nice.
I think Diogenes, right? He's got 5 or 6.
No, Diogenes has 4.
Randy's got 0.
Oh my God, that.
Randy, how many kids you got that you
He's
are
bad.
aware of?
My kids are like the sands of the seashore. They cannot be measured nor can they be counted.
Back to the discussion of testicles, right?
Randy has a dog with a lot of kids here.
I will not comment on that.
Who's this in your PTR? I was trying to figure that out.
This is me.
I don't know. Who
That's
is it?
right.
This is me.
He does fit the voice.
It does fit the voice. But he has worn that rabbi for so long that I already know like that.
No, I don't believe him.
Speaking of Black Rabbi, what happened to that guy? He's off the app.
No, he has to do an account.
He's scamming.
On the app.
He has to do an account.
Oh, I haven't even heard his voice. Like, his voice is very, like, everyone's voice is distinctive.
Is he still rabbi? Is it the guy with rabbi with the drawing I made of him?
No, but he's not in, unless Amir is keeping him out of his rooms. He doesn't come by and self-center the stage right now.
He's hiding.
Yeah.
Well, he's still here, but he changed his name. Like he just now.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, he's some American guy living in Israel.
He knows what's his name.
Oh, sorry.
Somali girl.
He has like 6 kids behind him, and they're all screaming. So cool. That's right.
Do you see how they scream your name?
That's right.
Where did you go, Randy? Where did you leave us?
I'm like that right now. I'm going home to the
I have to do a lot of things at work, so I a lot of shit. Now I'm back. How you doing?
Oh, did you meet your mom?
Wait, I thought you get, like, the equivalent of food stamps in Canada. You work?
You're racist.
No, I'm not. I just thought he didn't do anything. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin. Nah.
How do you think I don't do anything if we were literally talking about, if we were talking about geospatial programs like QGIS or whatever?
You could be very intelligent and drop out and the government's dying.
No, I told you I literally need something like that for my work. I settled for QGIS. It's very slow, man. It gets the job done though.
Hey Randy, in New York, you'll get $7,000 per child.
We get a lot of money. We get like 800.
Wow, are you shitting me? So wait, is that retroactive?
No, obviously not.
Because I have 3 kids in their 20s and 30s.
I think you have to be under the, like, a certain amount of money, like $30,000 a year.
Yeah, no Jew will fit that.
So, how does that actually? When you talk about all of Williamsburg and, like, those areas, they're doing it.
Yeah, but as a percent of Jewish population in New York, they're insignificant.
If I make $30,000 as a household and I have 5 kids, are you saying that?
Yeah, you are seriously in the poorhouse.
No. I'm saying, like, are you saying that, first of all, my $30K doesn't get taxed, but I also get, like, I'll get paid out $50K? You get paid out $50K, but you do get taxed on the 30.
Who makes 30K? No one makes 30K.
A lot of people make 30K. Wait,
That's crazy.
$50K non-taxable cash from the state of New York?
I'm serious. My friend has 4 kids and he does it.
That's if your salary is how
He's
much?
Dominican.
He's a legal alien, probably.
That's if your salary is less than 30K. I mean, what
He's
can 30K
demonstrated
do?
a lot of cool stuff.
The 30K can't do shit in New York.
No, I was just trying to, like, so it's not just like a credit, like, oh, like it's a write-off, like it's literally. It's a charge. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
How much does he get?
And that was $7,000 10 years ago. I don't know if it's gone up by now.
Isabel, you are the definition of repetition teaching.
No, but wait, is he saying that that's what he makes and then he is able to claim from the government?
My God.
What he receives from the government?
She gives me gas.
What's going on? Why are you?
Are you talking about like are you talking about the EITC?
No one's pissed at Isabel. She just requires a lot.
I don't know what it's called, but it's a child tax credit.
Income tax
But that's at the federal level. That's not a state thing.
No, he told me it was from the state.
Everything is a state thing if you actually think about it.
No, everything is not.
State of mind?
Would really surprise me if anybody was getting 30 grand from the state to have like 30 children.
The state can't leave the union, therefore everything is the state.
there are things that are taxed at the state level and benefits from the state level, and there are things that taxed at the federal level and benefits from the federal level. There's a two-tier hierarchy.
Yeah, but the state can leave the federal union.
No, but actually the states can leave.
That's what the Civil War was about, Randy. You can't leave.
You can't. There's nothing. That's one issue that we have in our government is there's no clause for leaving. It's once in, that's it.
So are you telling me if the great people of Texas decide to leave the United States of America, they can?
They can't.
They tried. They tried.
They leave and can't.
Wow, so you guys are very Muslim. Like, people can join you, but they can't leave you?
Most
It's like the Hotel California.
That's the whole point.
You can join you if they can.
Like, that's actually, it's not.
I'm unaware of any nation state that allows its like provinces or whatever to leave.
It's Canada.
It's not like the European Union.
Why would you have? Yeah.
What are you talking about? No, they can't in Canada. The Quebec secessionists have largely given up.
No, they just declared secession.
Totally bullshit.
They just declared it yesterday.
Quebec wanted to leave, and because Quebec wanted to leave, Canada had to kiss Quebec her ass, and that's why we have special laws for Quebec. So Quebec has its own immigration laws, it has its own this laws, that laws, whatever. Like, even if you check the Constitution, the Canadian Constitution has an asterisk next to certain things, and that means that this law does not apply. There's a different law in Quebec. Yeah, we can leave.
Alberta literally said yesterday that they're not going to adhere to any Canadian.
In the Matrix.
Yeah, there's no compulsion. You can come, you can go.
I don't think this is accurate.
I don't think
How
so.
about you ask ChatGPT?
In America, we call it secession. I don't know what they call it.
Canada is kind of like a different. They're so isolated in a way where I guess you could.
If that were the case, Canada would already be balkanized, and so would be the US.
Yeah, but no, because
Yes.
no, because the federal, that's not true.
California would already not be part of the US.
Doesn't get it. But the federal government in Canada, it's a confederation in Canada, and the federal government stamps for Quebec because Quebec is the only one that wanted to separate. Now,
French ass.
Now Alberta wants to separate. No, not because of that, but because Quebec is the most populated province. So that Canada is already very underpopulated. If you're gonna take away the second largest population, I guess something, Regardless, no, Alberta and Saskatchewan want to separate.
Well, I heard that it was Alberta that they said, like, you know what, we're not even going to pay taxes to the federal government anymore. We're done.
Because in Canada we have something called equalization payments, which means basically every province should have the same standard of living. So the haves always give the have-nots, and Alberta is the only actually productive province. So basically, if Alberta leaves, then we're all broke.
Yeah, like Canada.
So what are their demands? Like, what do they want?
They just change Alberta.
Yeah.
They want to be respected. So Quebec was demanding they want to leave, and if you want us to stay, then you're gonna respect our distinct identity, and you're gonna, all of that stuff. So Albertans now they're asking for representation and being. So basically, okay, remember the Americans how in 1776 they did the Declaration of Independence because they believe that there's taxation without representation and whatever, and we're paying tax to the English, but we're not represented in their parliament. So we have a similar situation going on here where it is exploitative and all of that stuff because we're basically paying tax and doing all these things. However, everything's controlled by the East Coast. Albertans are telling you we pay 60% of the funds of everything in this country, but we get nothing. In fact, we're just simply being punished all the time.
We're being treated like what, Randy? Use a term that we would understand.
Alberta is very oil intensive, and then we're trying to shut down everything oil related. By the way, Canada can
I set him up for that one, Lou, and he didn't take it.
Dude, we can be the richest country. We can be far richer than Norway. We can be far richer than Switzerland. Canada has the resource-wise, dude, and capability of education of people and whatnot. I don't think there's any country on earth
Why don't you then?
Because we have ideologues, we have leftists who, for example, we were all going to die in 5 years because of global warming.
But if it wasn't for the leftists, how would you be in Canada right now?
That's true. She's got a point.
No, she doesn't, because the conservatives in Canada are super far left to begin with.
And they need that
Yeah, but you were
Randy
able to
Dick.
make it to Canada because of the progressive rules of immigration.
No, there's no conservatives in Canada. There's like conservatives.
But that's her point. If it were not for the liberals, you would be able to be in Canada right now.
That's not true. It's much harder to be an immigrant in Canada than in the US, for example, because we have a welfare system.
My God.
Yeah.
Look at the size of this thing.
When you have a welfare system, it's much harder for you to become an immigrant, because then they're gonna be spending on you and shit. The only way you can come to Canada as an immigrant is if you have like a master's degree.
Which you lack.
I do have a
That's
master's.
right.
I came as
He's a DEI immigrant.
But it's very easy in Jordan to get a master's degree. Don't
He
you
got
just
it from
take a
London.
teacher?
He got it from Lebanon.
You have to get your education in Canada.
No, you ask the king, and the king just gives it to you.
There you go.
That's right.
You get your education in Canada.
Oh, you didn't have a master's degree.
I got my master's degree in Canada.
So there's a 1 year program or what? You just
Yeah.
a lot of money.
I signed you into the American University in Jordan. What are you talking
Stop.
Stocks. No, I didn't study in Jordan. But that's undergrad anyways. It's not in Jordan, no. I'm talking about grad school. So if you look at the stats, like immigrants are much more educated than Canadians. That's because we come here through education. International students.
Oh, Lebanon is the country I'm thinking of, sorry.
Dust. Oh, Lebanon. Oh, Lebanon.
That is Lebanon. That's my undergrad story.
My country to the thee. How are the women there?
Oh, Lebanon is a
Amazing.
top tier country of the region.
Top tier ass.
Nah.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I was just saying,
Oh, I thought that.
in terms of how much I like them.
It is top tier ass. It is top tier in many
This
ways.
is.
It is lowest tier in other ways.
Oman is pretty cool too.
What is?
He said his imam.
Oman country.
Oman.
Country.
He doesn't get it. My God, we're trolling him.
Oman is very underrated.
I know, yeah, it's very, very cool. I don't know much about it except from a class I took a while ago. And then I watched the Anthony Bourdain episode on Oman.
It's so sad that he killed himself.
Yeah, I just listened to his book. It was very good. I highly recommend it if you haven't. It's Kitchen Confidential.
Dude, I really enjoyed watching his show. I'm not even like. Even you think it. You know who did it? Or culinary.
The Clintons.
Oh yeah, the Clintons.
Oh yeah. He left a pretty well thought out note.
Well, that would be difficult to fake.
Yeah, you can't.
Is there a conspiracy behind his suicide?
Oh yeah, but we can start one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, his pedophilic girlfriend and the whole Epstein thing.
Epstein.
Yeah. I'm really, dude. Grant, you know what, Grant? We shouldn't even bother. They're never gonna accept that Epstein didn't do anything wrong. They want to spew anti-Semitic hate.
Speaking of anti-Semitic hate, I'm just walking by the bar that just had the controversy with Barstool Sports and stuff. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Why didn't he chip out, dude?
What?
Big deal.
What happened? Tell me.
Oh my God, you gotta hear this one.
So at this bar that I'm walking by right now, some I imagine kids, like college students, ordered like bottle service, and when you get bottle service at like certain clubs and bars, they'll come out with like sparklers and like a sign, and you can like pick what you want to put on the sign. Usually it's something like "Happy Birthday, Jeffrey" or whatever, you know. but they decided to ask the servers to put "fuck the Jews" on the sign, and
an innocent little joke.
And instead, very innocent little joke, and instead of the server or the waitress or whatever you want to call her, bottle girl actually would be the term. Instead of the bottle girl thinking to herself like, maybe I shouldn't do this, they just did it.
She said the customer's always
There's a
right.
reason she's a bottle girl.
Hold on, keep going.
Oh yeah, so actually, I wouldn't even say. I mean, they obviously they fired.
What happened?
Shut up.
So they fired the employees, and then Dave Partnoy reached out to the parents of the kids and asked them if he would let them send their kids to Auschwitz to do a tour of the camps. As he said he wanted to turn it into a learning educational experience.
Oh, so that's what you were saying before, Diego, about sending someone to Auschwitz. Okay.
Oh, so the fuck the Jews didn't have anything to do with the war going on? They were dying Holocaust or what? I get it.
What if they put at the bar they put Muhammad was a pedophile?
That would have been amazing.
Would they
It would have been promoted, and I honestly would have.
No, they wouldn't have promoted it.
I'm just wondering if they would fire them.
Oh, of course they fucking will.
If they would send them to Saudi Arabia.
But there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to promote it if they want to fucking promote that.
Well, what you're missing here is that Dave Portnoy lost his shit. I mean, he went absolutely crazy.
He really didn't. I mean, I watched the videos of him responding.
He said, "I was fuming. That's what he said."
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He said he was gonna fire everybody. He said he was gonna fire everybody.
But he ultimately decided against doing that.
Yeah, because his attorneys told him not to.
How does Portnoy relate to these bars? Is he the owner?
He's the owner. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if they would fire the people who put Muhammad's foot, and if they would send them to Saudi for education.
Oh, that's good, actually.
He was clearly upset, but he ultimately had a pretty measured response, and I think
his attorney had a measured response.
I think you don't always have to listen to your attorney, as we've learned. So. He listened to his maybe not. Ultimately after getting, I think it's reasonable to get upset, but then it's your job as an adult to calm down and come to a responsible plan.
But Evan, let's just talk about this guy for a second. You understand that Dave Portnoy became famous for posting a picture of an infant naked, right? That's how he became famous.
What? I'm pretty sure he created this little. Diego, I'm pretty sure he created this thing called Barstool Sports. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a little media
publication. He posted a picture of Tom Brady's son, dude. Look it up. Just put Dave Portnoy, Tom Brady's son. Now, what I'm trying to say is here, are you familiar, and this is no pun intended that she's also Jewish, the Barbra Streisand effect?
Oh, I love Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen now. Now that we know we can trigger him like that, people are going to do it.
I mean,
because it was his bar. Is that the?
Well, I mean, I don't think.
I didn't know it was actually his.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously the primary reason why is because his name is attached to it. But beyond that, he's is he Jewish himself? I don't know if he's Jewish himself.
I don't think he's Jewish. I don't think he's Jewish.
I put a nail into a board.
Regardless, he's an ally of the people and the great state of Israel. So he's going to stand against anti-Semitism. Good on him. I would feel just as bad if a bar posted "fuck the Palestinians." We don't need this kind of language.
Would you feel bad if they said "fuck Guatemala"?
What about what they're actually doing, Kevin? You don't feel bad about that?
I do. A lot of that's quite bad. I feel very bad for the civilians who are dying.
Okay.
Would you feel bad if they said "fuck Guatemala"?
And he says that. I don't think he likes. I don't know. Maybe he does.
Evan, I have a question.
Do you know what today is the anniversary of? There's nothing wrong with guys are very.
There's nothing wrong with that. And one day they're gonna kill the Palestinian protesters too.
They're taking too much time.
There's nothing wrong with.
But what they're yeah, I honestly I don't know if I would have an issue with that. I think we would. Yeah.
I mean, haven't you seen what Canada did to us during COVID?
It was basically the Holocaust. It was basically the Holocaust.
And I have a question on
you had to stay indoors at Goon for like 2 years straight.
Evan, PTR, is this how you properly wear this?
They literally put us in camps.
Yeah.
PTR, is that how you wear it?
A lot of people died.
Oh, that's not
Usually it's a little bit farther back to cover your bald spot. But, you know, that's
Yeah, you should go away.
What's he doing?
I think Trump wore it better when he kissed the wall.
Who was that?
Why does he look so? That's like that photo makes him look bad.
Diego, did you see that video of that college student?
Fat old Jewish man.
They were asking college students like political questions, and one of them they asked was like, what are the 3 requirements to live in the United States or to be president of the United States? And one of them was like, you have to be 35 years old, you have to be born in the United States, or you have to be like a U.S. born citizen. And then the other kid was like, don't you also have to kiss that wall?
Wow.
Nobody else knew what he was talking about. It was a pretty funny one. I laughed at that one. That was a good one. That was
good.
It was great delivery too. That was the thing of like the non-specificity of that wall. I think was what sold it.
But it's true, you know. Response actually. If you say, don't you have to support Israel? Then it's like, that's weird. Even though it's like, why did the British royal family all have a person with moil?
I don't know. Why are there so many photos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein? You know, we might not know the answers to these questions. You know.
How many times
Are there a lot?
Can you prove that?
No, look, they don't like Evan doesn't like Trump. These people don't like Epstein. We're not gonna. I don't think Epstein did it. I agree with you.
Can you prove it though? Can you prove that Epstein did anything?
No, they can't prove a goddamn thing. All they can prove is that they're anti-Semitic.
It is an anti-Semitic attack. Yes.
Why can't you just be straightforward? You don't like Epstein. Just say you don't like him because he's a Jew. Don't turn him into some pedophile.
I will say the evidence, at least, obviously once things got to the island, it got a lot more secretive, but the evidence surrounding what he was doing out of his home in, what's it called, I forget where in Florida. No, in Florida. He had this home in Florida, forget the neighborhood, very nice neighborhood, and he was like paying underage girls to like come over and give him massages, and then like also like maybe like do other stuff to him.
Have you heard of
In his egg-shaped penis?
No. Have you heard the innocent until proven guilty, not until they
No, they don't.
Okay, you need to prove. Where's the proof?
The proof was pretty overwhelming in court, and honestly, that was dismissed on pretty spurious grounds, likely relating to corruption with the judge. I mean, that's all like pretty well documented. I'm not gonna you're doing like a devil's advocate trolling thing, and I'm not going to engage.
I never thought I would say this, but you're.
I'm not engaging, Randy. I refuse to engage. You can engage with yourself.
Well, I refuse to engage with anti-Semites. You're anti-Semitic.
That thing that you're talking about, you want, is in a Netflix documentary. It's like 6 episodes.
Yeah, cool. That's
what I watched.
What are we talking about? Filthy rich.
They're attacking Jeffrey Epstein, and they're trying to make him seem like things he's not just because he's a Jew.
Well, it's possible that the things we're making him seem to be could be true, but they just don't have the proof.
He was just a guy that likes massages.
Trump, you know, she just likes young women, just like Epstein likes young women.
Prove it.
Nobody likes old women. No offense, respect.
Yeah. Well, have you guys seen that? Heard that quote from Trump where he's like, "Yeah, I get along with Jeffrey Green. We both really love young women." That's what I love about Epstein. He's always surrounded by beautiful young women.
But that doesn't mean they're minors. That does not mean they're minors.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily.
So the claim is that Epstein was a voyeur and he has cameras all
Dude, why do you feel the need to defend that?
single video.
That's really
Where's
weird.
the video? So where's the videos and the pictures?
I mean, there were. I'm pretty sure, like, at least I'm sure there have been some photos taken. I mean.
Look, likely
I mean, it also makes
Epstein was a partner with one of the beauty pageants, supermodels. Again, there's no evidence that suggests.
Where did he make his money? Where did he? Was he? What?
Epstein.
Yeah.
Oh, he
could have
he was like
involved in many things, but that doesn't mean that he's a pedophile. You guys are trying.
Where did
like one?
How did he get? So he got his money initially through like investing on behalf of people. He apparently was a very skilled investor. So so he was like a money manager. But then over time, his like extortion racketeering thing kind of seemed to become a source of his money.
Again, we go back to the same circle. I mean, a lot of people say that he was paid by the Israeli intelligence and Mossad. Okay, can you prove that?
No. Where are the arrests? There's literally, he's the only one that was arrested and he's dead.
What about Ghislaine?
No, yeah.
Oh, guys, I'm not saying anything. I'm just wondering, we know that.
Engaging, right?
Yeah, I'm not engaging. We know that Jeffrey Epstein we're very good friends, and then Trump is in office, and all of a sudden Epstein kills himself. Really, that's a little suspicious. Right before maybe he was about to testify about Trump.
But why would
what are you hinting at? Kevin, what are you hinting at?
Of course,
He's not hinting at anything. Randy is
I think
hinting
Trump
at
killed Epstein to hide. Okay, I actually. Wait, guys, you want to get my hot take?
You are claiming that he is certain things that you can take. Innocent until proven guilty, motherfucker. Innocent until proven guilty.
What's your take?
If you look into the details of it, at the very least, the first thing against him, which he slipped out of, which was the little bit of prostitution. He slipped out of it. There was. You can look into it. The evidence is pretty overwhelming.
Innocent until proven guilty. I don't care if there's evidence.
Okay, that's fine. You can look at the proof that was presented during the trial, which wasn't contested. It wasn't contested on a basis of the facts. So I think I have to
make it to trial.
No, he was. This was a previous one. Like 10 years before this, in like the early 2010s, he almost got in trouble in the state of Florida for running a little ring in which he was using underage girls. Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of. I would need to. It's been a while since I watched it. I thought that Filthy Rich documentary was pretty compelling.
You sound like a conservative with the whole Trump case.
But it's not,
No, this is ridiculous. It got thrown out. Nothing came of it.
So all I'm saying is that Trump is on the flight logs. Trump, according to Epstein, Trump and him were best friends for over 10 years in Epstein's own words. In Epstein's own words.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. I'm honestly more than anything.
But why do you feel that that's a bad thing?
I'm simply pointing out the double standard from the conservative pedophile hunters who are calling every single fucking person a pedophile, except conservatives love talking about Epstein, but all of the most fucking.
Well, where's the proof?
Look, I don't think.
Well,
No, hold on. Bill Clinton. I'm going to be objective. He did nothing on being on his flights 23 times. Prove to me that Epstein did something wrong before I can accept someone that's being guilty by association.
Exactly. Why would we those who associate with him if he did nothing wrong?
My God.
Can he prove the guy is a pedophile? Or is
Prove that Epstein I'd say there's enough evidence saying that Epstein. Well, technically, he'd be like an evophile or whatever, or an evophile.
Okay, exactly. So, we found it true, we can attack. So you guys are That's all it is. Because you can't prove that he is these things. You just want to believe it. Fine, go ahead, do that. Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he got killed.
Do you think that guilty people ever evade accountability in the legal system?
No, I'm saying that you are innocent until proven guilty. Not evidence that you're guilty.
So unless you're proven guilty, you are automatically okay. Well, one, I agree legally, obviously, like this is the foundation of our legal system. However, as like individuals, we're allowed to make judgments, and we